Listen, I'm glad that we finally got this interview going. Yeah. You done set social media ablaze, Azario. Okay?
That definitely wasn't the plan.
You did it, okay? And I don't know, we're going to ask about the smoke that you got from the LGBTQ too.
Oh,
yeah. We're going to talk about all sides, but real quick, I just want to introduce you both, okay? So, Deirdre.
Correct.
Okay. And this is your son, Azario.
Correct.
Okay. Who was previously trans.
Correct.
All right. And what was your name that you went by as trans?
It was Ashley Shalani.
Ashley Shalani. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. And so you put up a video. We're going to insert that video here just in case anybody has, they want to reference it.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Azario Carithers. I formerly was living as Ashley Shalani Carithers. God made me a man. The devil tricked me into being trans, and now God has called me back. Today, I want to invite whoever wants to go on this journey of deliverance with me. I want to invite you. The devil is a liar, and you have to publicly acknowledge that he's a liar. And so my pronouns are he and him. Again, my name is Azario. I am what they call detransitioning. I call it I am on my journey of deliverance because God made me a man, and a man I shall be. This is going to be a long journey, but I promise you, you're going to see the victory at the end because God is good and it's never too late. Let's go.
And we actually took the video and reposted it, and I was just shocked and amazed at how well it did. I think it's sitting at like 500,000 views now, if I'm not mistaken. We did tag you. I don't know what type of feedback you got from it, but my viewers, who are the winos, put me on to both of you guys. Well, put me on to you. Oh, okay, and then I saw the video of you standing behind your son, and y'all were denouncing all things trans. Right. And she was like, I'm covering my son in the blood of Jesus. The devil is a lie. And I was like, oh, shit. It was like, Tasha, you really need to interview him and the mom. Because, there's a lot of questions here. And like I said, I can't imagine what type of heat you probably been getting, or maybe positivity from the LGBT community as a whole. All right, winos, you guys know that I am busy as hell, okay? And so when I hit a lick, you hit a lick too. You guys know that we have businesses, we got kids, we got all sorts of things going on, and we just don't have time to cook a lot. And a lot of times we don't have time to eat out because it's either too expensive, and we also don't have time to grocery shop because it's too expensive as well. But I'm gonna tell you something, when I found Cook Unity, all of that changed. Not only are they offering me gourmet meals made by real chefs, okay, that you can select from. They got hundreds of meals for all sorts of diets, whether you vegan, vegetarian, paleo, gluten-free, dairy-free, whatever it is that you have. They have fresh, never frozen meals ready to prepare that comes right to your door in this container here so that you can prepare it for your family, okay? It saves time, money, and everything like that. So me and Shaq have literally worked 14 hours today. We don't have time to go sit in a restaurant because I'm actually working right now while I'm doing it. And so while I'm working, I'm actually eating. So my two meals that I chose today are the stir-fried coriander lemongrass shrimp made by Chef Abe Moyes. And if you scan that little barcode, you can learn more about your meal there as well. The reason I chose this particular meal is because it has 24 grams of protein, all right? And you guys know that I'm always in the gym trying to build my little booty, trying to build my little legs, trying to lose fat and things like that. And then of course I gotta keep my husband's protein count up too as well. And so today Shek is going to be having the Mediterranean salmon and quinoa bowl. He loves salmon, and of course salmon is really loaded with protein. This has 40 grams and it's made by Chef Ruben Garcia. And if you scan that little barcode right there to tell you a lot about your chef as well as the ingredients and things like that. Now you can either microwave the meals or you can heat up the meals. I gotta get to eating because I don't like my food to get cold. If y'all want to enjoy y'all food here for literally a third of the cost of what you would pay in a restaurant or in a grocery store, please visit cookunity.com. Use the coupon code for 50% off your first order, all right? Now go ahead and get out of my kitchen. I'm about to get down.
It's been both.
It's been both?
Yeah, it's been
positive?
Because the Christians, they're happy about it, but then the other
community
people
is
are
like,
not.
it's like a gang.
You're a traitor. I know.
It's like you're a gang. You're a traitor.
They ganged up on me. I know.
There you go. It's like you're a traitor. How dare you? Death before dishonor. And I'm like, this is my personal life. Imagine I just feel bad for the people that don't have the courage that I have, because I have reached a lot of people.
Okay.
And a lot of trans people have reached out and said how they, also think that they went on the trans journey for the wrong reasons as well. And, they've been thinking about it, but they feel stuck. They feel like they've done too much, because you start to look like a certain thing. And when you've lived like that longer in your adult life than you have as a male, I mean, you can feel stuck. It's probably why I'm just now starting the journey the end of last year, because you start to feel like now you got to undo everything. And, you got your own battles within yourself that you got to fight. And then you got to come and fight the Power Rangers too. You know what I'm saying? So,
you said Power Rangers. Listen,
that's how they try.
I didn't say it because they're gonna be like, she only doing this because she in the trans community. That's not
that's
true.
How they acted, yeah.
One of my best friends and my mentors is trans. He, she, we, the great Flame Monroe. Okay? Put some respect on the name. All right.
Flame hit me up too. Flame was like, I'm so proud of you for telling your truth and going on your journey. And she said, I'm gonna tell you in advance, F them folks. So Flame already know
she will say
how the community is.
Yeah. And I listen, I got a lot of members of the LGBTQ that don't claim that they're members of the LGBTQ. It's like that's the dark side over there. They ain't trying to get over there with all them politics and everything.
Like, I just do what I do.
I just do what I do. So
I see why now.
I support both. It doesn't matter what side you on, just as long as you respecting people. You ain't trying to put your hands on people.
Yeah.
Because there was a big falling out about that. But we're here for you and I'm glad that you brought your mama, because a lot of times a very, very close colleague of mine whose son is now trans. Okay. She is a public figure. I don't want to say her name now because she may be like, don't bring me in this, or she may bring me into it. But she's been ridiculed for not supporting her trans son. Okay. And she's a big Trump supporter. She's a black woman. I don't know if you can guess. Yeah. No, not Candace Owens. Yeah. But neither here nor there. Yeah. And she's been very vocal about, the support for you. She was in the comments.
She was.
You came out and she was like, this is what I'm talking about. She was supporting you as well. And so I just want to start from the beginning. Okay. So you were born Azario.
I was born a male. Yes.
No, not Azario.
I was originally named after my father, but me and my father have had and then I had a nickname given to me by best friends in high school named Azario. And then probably when I was like 19, my mom was like, I wish I would have gave you your own name. And so I was actually in the process of getting ready to change it legally. And then I became trans. Yeah, my father, I have the kind of father that'll sue me and everything. So
he'll sue you.
I mean, we just have a very...
He petty.
Disrespectful, violent relationship.
Oh my God.
I'll put it like that, yeah.
Okay.
So, I was born male. I was 19 when I first started meeting gays and trans people. And
that's late.
Yeah, because I had a very strict upbringing.
I am a Christian, and I was one of those I would say poisoned by religion Christian, meaning that whatever the pastor said, that's what I accepted. So I didn't even know that my son was not liking females. I just didn't see it. I didn't know.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, it was, you said it was late. It was probably late because I was always like, where you going? Just on top
Super
of everything.
Strict. Too strict.
Yeah. I was definitely on top of everything. And the strictness probably changed junior year in high school.
If you want to say it.
Compared to what I was.
I guess compared to what it was.
Course,
yeah. I guess you can say that.
Yeah. Got your own car.
But it wasn't like how most high school people were.
Yeah. You hadn't got your own vehicle and you were able to go some places where before it was like, no.
So there was no dating allowed, period. It didn't matter if it was male or female or definitely male. That's how strict you were.
I don't think so much we really talked about that because it wasn't like he came home and said, hey, I want to take somebody out. It wasn't like that. I think at some point in time he found his way of living and I guess being curious and wanting and interesting, and I wasn't the type of mother nor Christian that he could come and talk to at that time.
Yeah,
I hate
about
that was the
sexuality.
part,
Yeah.
but I wasn't there at the time because being raised in a certain religion, I have a righteous life with God now, not religion, but being raised in a certain religion, people going to hell for everything, and you definitely was going to hell if you're gonna be a homosexual.
Yeah.
So he wasn't able to come and talk to me about it.
Okay.
And thank God we talk about everything now. So
I could tell y'all so close. He came in, he was putting the mascara on your eyelashes, and y'all just gazing in each other's
God.
eyes. And
Yeah.
truly thank God for
But
that.
there was a time where we probably could have prevented some gayness. Remember Lauren in middle school?
Oh, definitely.
And how your second husband
Yeah.
was so racist.
Yeah, definitely.
So I was in
What you
middle
mean?
school. So I was in middle school. So my mom, she married her second husband. My parents divorced when I was 9.
Okay.
My mom remarried. Both of my parents remarried monsters. So
Continue.
yeah,
The
I was gonna
devil.
say
I
my
call him the devil.
my stepmother probably
that's
gonna see this.
the demon. That's him.
She calls him the devil. But he what made it worse was he hid behind the mask of ministry. So that made it like twice as bad. It was like Ike Turner, but I'm saved. You know what I'm saying? At least with Ike Turner, you knew he was a monster.
Absolutely.
Okay.
This man was like, no, I'm not a monster. I'm a minister, but I do all the monster things.
Okay.
And I was talking to this girl because I went to schools where I was like, where black people were the minority, so I was in classes
Was
where
it white
sometimes,
schools?
yeah, I went to white schools.
Okay.
Sometimes I'd be the only black, or it'd be 2 of us in there, honors classes, that kind of stuff. So,
Them white kids be into some shit.
and when you're surrounded by them, I mean, who are you going to end up dating? White people, because that's all you're surrounded by. So I was talking to this white girl, and she called the house one day, and her second husband was a racist, a male chauvinist, everything in the
Undercover
book.
prejudice.
Yeah. Like would go to jail just for like a traffic stop because he would call them all kind of crackers and get in their face, and like he was like big time racist. But it was taught to him by his family. And so once he found out about Lauren, like he actually terrorized me and beat me because I was talking to a white girl. And so I think that pushed me further to men, because it's like if I can't even date who I want to date, and then gay people are very they know how to choose and charm and, lure you in, especially in Florida.
So you felt like you were definitely a target because of some of the abuse that was going on in the house.
Oh, that definitely,
it pushed you into the arms of people.
Definitely, yeah.
So, how was your, your childhood, like the base of your childhood? Was it just pretty, you go to school, go to church, come home?
I mean, it was balanced when my parents were together because, my mom believed in going to church and all that. My dad believed in having a good time and going out. He was a DJ on the weekend. So I would say I had a balance when they were together.
But I did take y'all places.
I
went
mean,
to church a lot. But
yeah, we
still
did.
went to places.
We went to like Disney World and movies and stuff. But yeah.
So that was actually pretty good because a lot of black families coming up in that time couldn't even really afford to go to Disney
we were
World.
going on a regular basis.
Yeah, we lived in Orlando, so we were going on a regular basis. And we would get a lot of free tickets as well.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. To take them timeshare trips and tours.
Yeah, and people worked at the time. They were giving, a lot of people we knew worked there. They were giving like 12 tickets a year. You would get 3 tickets a season. And then if you had your own badge, you didn't need it. So we would get a lot of free tickets from people in the church. And then I would win a lot of contests because I was smart. So
it was pretty balanced coming up. You didn't, so sexuality wasn't a conversation. You know how people will say, oh, I found out I was gay when I was 5. Or, I started liking girls, or a girl saying I like a girl when I was 3. Or maybe I was touched by my aunt and that's what made me like women, or, things like that. Anything
there was some
like
touching
that.
in our family. My mom has 9 sisters and 2 brothers. So I have probably 29 first cousins.
Okay. So it was a
but
cousin
I don't
on
think
cousin.
it was a cousin thing, but I don't think it played a role in that decision.
Was it a male cousin?
Yeah.
And you really don't think it played a role?
It may have. I don't know. I was young. I was a child.
How young were you?
They force you to play hunch or whatever. Things happen.
Yeah.
Maybe like 5, 6, 7. My mom always was a workaholic. So, you watch my kids, you watch my kids, you watch my kids, So, yeah.
So was there any sexual acts that was performed? Or?
No, not like that. Like play, hunch, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It wasn't like no.
And it was the boys?
Yeah, a boy. Yeah,
a boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, we had older cousins too that, once you get older, the secrets of the family start coming out. So it's not like homosexuality is like a big, like I was like the first or something like that. You know, there's even, you know, a story or two about my mom's father who was a preacher, you know, and my pastor talks to us about how you can inherit things and you can inherit the spirit of homosexuality. And I had never heard anybody put it like that before. My pastor put it like that.
So your grandfather was gay? Or bisexual?
Bi. I would say bi
Bisexual.
because it was...
You know your sister's gonna see this, right? Oh, okay.
Well, she's asking the hard, tough
She
questions.
is. And he was a preacher, so it was
Okay.
like, you know what I'm saying?
So how did you guys find out that? I mean, obviously he's your dad. I mean,
My oldest sister.
okay.
Yeah, one of my aunts on Mad Day, baby.
She got the wine.
Ooh, Mad
Is she me?
Day. We done found out a lot of stuff from her on Mad Day.
Oh, Lord. I love it. I love it. You know,
But I think she holds it in because, like, you know, my mom took it well, you know, but some sisters be like, oh, no, don't say that about daddy. Oh, Jesus. Like, she got some sisters that they can't take it.
I was the opposite with the mom, though.
You can see your
my
mom ways for a
mother,
long
not
time.
me, not being able to just see anything. And eventually, I realized that I love her unconditionally, but I've got out of La La Land and went to reality land.
Okay.
So that came up, you know, like how, you know, people in the family were trying to say, oh, you know, this was gay, that was gay. And then my mom's oldest sister one day was like, well, you know, they got it honestly. Let me tell you the story about how our daddy was going in the woods with the white man. And then,
Oh, wow.
and
Okay.
preaching on Sunday. So I think some things you can't inherit. I think some things are just generational curses. Yeah, and you got to pray it off. You got to fast, but not talking about it doesn't help, you know, because we find this stuff out in our 30s where, you know, me and leave them nameless, me and probably about 6, 7 cousins that have had homosexuality issues probably feel like, you know, alone in this. Like, where does this come from? And then different aunts, it's been revealed too that they, you know, carpet munched a little bit or got theirs munched. So.
Look, I don't want to cause no family problem when y'all get back to the house.
No, I mean, it is what it is.
Listen.
We're not the scary type.
So when did you find out that you, I guess, had a liking for men? At what age?
I would say boys.
Boys.
yeah.
Because it started when
I was gonna say like
18.
Yeah, I was gonna say like probably like the puberty days, you know, high school. High school, you know, you start to develop erections and, you know, you be in class with different boys and you start experimenting, you know. There was this one guy stayed in my neighborhood and he was a flamboyantly gay person. So I know we never could camouflage like we was homies and then, you know, mess around like that. But we would, I end up at his house one day. I snuck into his house one day and he, you know, jacked me off and I enjoyed it. And I think that's probably where it started. And then it went from that to a little head, you know.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
So your first experience sexually was with a man? With a boy? Sorry.
Yeah, as far as like
So you
penetration, head, something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say,
It was with
because
a girl
I think
later.
You hadn't ever, you might have kissed a girl. But
Yeah, I had
no
kissed
more than that.
I had kissed and fingered
And
a
it was
girl
very
in middle
limited.
school.
Okay.
But because
Yeah,
of my
very
strict,
limited.
I couldn't, you know, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't have sex with a girl until I was like in my 20s.
Okay.
A stud, you know. And then
Okay.
I was like, oh wow, I've been missing this for a long time. I didn't know that felt like that.
He says
like my
that.
early, probably like 20 years old. Yeah.
So
when I
it was
finally-
better than being with a man.
Oh, it's much better. I mean, it self-lubricates. I mean, it's totally different. I mean, if we're being honest.
I'm gonna get dragged.
If we're
They're gonna
being
say
honest.
I set you up to say this.
Well,
I have friends who are, I wouldn't even say friends, but colleagues that do, they're porn stars.
oh, okay, yeah, that's popular.
And they're gay. They consider themselves gay porn stars, but they won't have sex with men. They have sex with trans. I think is it trans men? Yeah.
Oh, okay, trans men, women that transition to men but still got a vajayjay.
Yeah, they said that they don't like
I've had
the
sex with a trans man
butthole.
too. Yeah, because they still have
Yeah,
that lady part.
Yeah,
you know, and there's nothing like that. So I understand.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So look at your mama like
vagina is not better than vagina.
Just something I haven't ever heard. We talk about everything, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Vagina is not better than vagina. Trust me.
You just
It
say,
is
I'm
not.
telling you, you are not the first person that has said that on my show.
I'm telling you.
And they said that the vagina is just, it's a muscle.
God's gift. It is.
she's enjoying this interview more.
I'm enjoying it because, listen, this is stuff that I talk about, okay? And I tell, especially a lot of the newfound trans women, and they want to feel like they can fight with women. And I'm like, let me tell you something.
I never supported that. I mean, because that's not the same. The muscle, like your when you get upset, I can say this because I lived in trans body for 16 years. When you get upset, your naturalness comes back in a fight. I don't think it's ever fair for a trans woman to fight a real woman. If a trans woman touches my mother, I'm smiling in my mugshot because she getting shot. And that's just in real life. Yeah. My brother would do the same thing, would he not? If a trans woman jumped on our mother, we smiling in that mugshot.
That's man to man.
Like that's like you can't. Yeah, I think that's when it goes too far. That's when it goes way too far. And that's one thing I respect about certain ones, like T.S. Madison or like Flame Monroe. Yeah. They say that, that's they share the same sentiments. A trans woman should not be able to fight a biologically born woman and nothing happens. Like that's just messed up.
Yeah, I told him, I said, keep playing with me. I'm gonna have Ron DeSantis pass that law that it's a hate crime. Because like it is a hate crime for anybody to put their hands on a trans person across the board. But I'm like, I feel like, biological women, it's like, where's our protection? Because now they feel that they're women and they don't want to fight men because they've taken hormones and their muscles are breaking down. So they can't stand up to a man. So now they feel like they can fight us. And I'm like, no, fight each other.
Yeah.
Fight each other.
However, also, biological women don't go around slapping men, women, trans, or nobody and expecting nobody to do nothing to you. But if you're in an argument with a trans person and they try to buck up at you, then that ain't cool.
And I've been bucked at a few times because I refuse to. If I see you acting aggressively towards a woman, right, and it happened to me before, and I said, I saw a trans woman beating up on a biological woman.
Oh, that ain't cool.
The lady left unconscious.
Oh, that ain't cool.
Right. And I said, you got a whole dick between your legs fighting a woman.
Yeah, that ain't cool.
Oh, my God. You would have thought a demon came out of him. What you say? I'm a woman. No, you're not. I'm sorry. Like the respect. I'm not gonna respect you when I just saw you beat the shit out of a woman. No, I don't care who you are at this point. Right. You could be standing there as a full man. I would have felt the same way. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like now, if it's woman on woman, that's different.
Trans on trans, man on man.
That's hey, have at it.
Have at it.
That's why the UFC got rules. On who you can fight, the weight class, male versus. Stop that. So that's a whole nother debate there. But as far as you, 16 years as a trans woman.
I lived 16 years. And
I saw your
last
pictures.
year.
I saw your videos. I was like, you was really trans.
Yeah, I was deep in that thing. Yeah.
You had ass and you had the whole thing.
I gotta get all that reversed, but the mind starts in the mind and the heart, and so I thank God for renewing those two areas first. The body just to catch up as I work out more, get to a certain testosterone level, and
are you taking testosterone
get
to
the
help?
money? My doctor just approved it this week. Because the crazy part is when you want to be trans, they don't have all those prerequisites and psychiatry appointments and all that. But when I told him I wanted to detransition, I wanted some testosterone. Now I got all these rules and I'm like, The double
Now
standard.
they say they do. They say that, because politically and as a parent, the fact that my child can walk into any facility and get hormones and just start transitioning without me being a part of those conversations, I'm fucking livid.
Is that how it is?
That's how it is.
For children?
For children, yes. They are
wow, I didn't
now
know that.
giving children hormones. They can start transitioning. They've removed children out of households because parents don't support the transition.
Yeah.
And so now they're moving kids out of the house into these facilities where I guess they could be trans or they could be LGBTQ and be free even if their parents don't agree.
Right.
And parents can lose rights to their children. So the fact that you're saying that you could walk and get anything you wanted, but just trying to reverse it, now they want to say you crazy.
Like, I'm just going back to what God made me. I'm not trying to, but yeah. He didn't say I was crazy, but he made me go through 2 rounds of psych evaluation. I'm like, I've been going to this clinic since 2010. It wasn't that way when I came in. You asked me what I was taking. You wanted to keep the continuity of care. So I think that they need to look into that, They need to look into that.
Do you think it's an underlying, just another way, just like the black on black crime, and, you got gangs being pit against other gangs and black men are being killed. This is another way to, an underlying way that creates like a silent kind of genocide amongst black men and decreases the black population the more that, we're confused and we're transitioning because less kids and things are being born?
I think stuff like that is always at the top of the list, whether it's my detransition and having to go through psychiatry, or like you said, keeping a lot of our black men in prison, making sure they can't do certain things like, they can't be in the house if the woman gets any government assistance, I think the attack on the black family is always prevalent in America, spelt with 3 Ks.
You're going to go a long way. Listen.
I think the attack on the black family is always,
a long way.
Always at the top.
I think there was a reason why God did this.
The list.
Sometimes they just get lost. They never come back. He back. And I say this, even with the LGBTQ community. I don't care if you like women and you can't stand dick. You want to have a baby, do not go to a sperm donor. Go to your fellow LGBTQ black member and have a baby with that member so that we can keep rising in numbers, because otherwise the black man is going extinct in America.
I agree. When I was trans, I started thinking about having children when my brother had his first child, 2019. Because like I said, because she has 9 sisters and 2 brothers, I have 29 something cousins, and I love most of them.
And you want a big family.
But I thought about that. I was like, I'm the only sibling. I'm the older sibling. I realized I was 21, how selfish that decision was, especially after I had some of the real thing in my 20s. I was like, you could have had a child by now. And I remember I was talking to, they call them studs, lesbians that present masculine. She and I were talking about having a child when I was 27 and she was 20, and then she moved back to Florida. It never happened. But after my brother had children, I started thinking about having children. I started talking to my closest friends about it. And I was like, when you are trans and you're taking hormones, you're shooting blanks, your sperm count is so low. You got to get up, a doctor will tell you, you got to get off hormones for 8 months to a year, and most don't, because then the manly features start to come back. And so I was telling one of my friends, I think I'm about to get off hormones for a year and a half to get my sperm count up. He's like, no, because you're going to look like Mike Tyson with a wig on, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, I don't care. I said, because I want to give my niece and nephew now, children. And he was like, cousins. He was like, you can adopt. I say, we got strong genes in our family. I want to pass that down. We all look like each other.
Y'all look good. I ain't gonna lie. I'm looking at mom shit. I was like, what do y'all use on the skin?
Oh, yes. We'll talk about that. But I didn't want to. I wanted our DNA. I wanted our, we look alike. Me, my mom, my brother, my niece, my nephew. People can tell that we're all family. And that's when I started. But that's probably when I first started thinking about, we went too far, We went too far being trans. We did it for the wrong reasons. You got to start having those self-talks with yourself.
So how did you, okay, so you're gay, okay? Are you still gay?
No. I have not been involved with men in a very long time.
Okay.
And that's when I think, because she used to laugh at it, last year, I started being aggravated when men would try to talk to me. Well, probably 2022 first.
No, it wasn't last year.
Yeah, like 2022, you know, because like you said, I was built like I was built, you know. I started being aggravated. It went from a thrill to like, oh, hell no, let me tell him I'm trans. It went from that to like, hey, bro, I'm a man. Leave me alone, you know? And she would start laughing because we thought it was a phase because I just was aggravated with. I had got into my introvert state where I didn't want to go nowhere. I didn't want to be around nobody. I just wanted to be at home with her or by myself. And so I think that started like the thought process because it wasn't a phase. It stuck. Like I started really being aggravated with men, period. And then I met another stud, masculine presenting lesbian, and we started getting close fast. And I liked the way that felt. And then this whole time I had got off hormones and I loved the way that felt. I had never got off hormones for over like maybe like 3 to 4 months at the most. But this time I had been off hormones for like a year and a half. And so the natural manly ways and thought process and, you know, the way a man thinks started to come back. And then that's when I was like, I think I'm done. And I was like, well, Lord, if we done with men, because we aggravated with them, and we done with hormones, then that must means we detransitioning, you know? And slowly but surely I started to commit to that mentally. And then I went to church and it just changed everything.
But what I'm guessing, like, so your first sexual experience was with another boy. And so you kept having sexual experiences with boys until you got into your 20s.
Yes.
Okay. And so how did the trans conversations come up? All right, winos, you guys know that I am busy as hell, okay? And so when I hit a lick, you hit a lick too. You guys know that we have businesses, we got kids, we got all sorts of things going on, and we just don't have time to cook a lot. And a lot of times we don't have time to eat out because it's either too expensive, and we also don't have time to grocery shop because it's too expensive as well. But I'm gonna tell you something, when I found Cook Unity, all of that changed. Not only are they offering me gourmet meals made by real chefs, okay, that you can select from. They got hundreds of meals for all sorts of diets, whether you vegan, vegetarian, paleo, gluten-free, dairy-free, whatever it is that you have. They have fresh, never frozen meals ready to prepare that comes right to your door in this container here so that you can prepare it for your family, okay? It saves time, money, and everything like that. So me and Shaq have literally worked 14 hours today. We don't have time to go sit in no restaurant because I'm actually working right now while I'm doing it. And so while I'm working, I'm actually eating. So my two meals that I chose today are the stir-fried coriander lemongrass shrimp made by Chef Abe Moyes. And if you scan that little barcode, you can learn more about your meal there as well. The reason I chose this particular meal is because it has 24 grams of protein, all right? And you guys know that I'm always in the gym trying to build my little booty, trying to build my little legs, trying to lose fat and things like that. And then of course I gotta keep my husband's protein count up too as well. And so today Shek is going to be having the Mediterranean salmon and quinoa bowl. He loves salmon, and of course salmon is really loaded with protein. This has 40 grams and it's made by Chef Ruben Garcia. And if you scan that little barcode right there to tell you a lot about your chef as well as the ingredients and things like that. Now you can either microwave the meals or you can heat up the meals. I gotta get to eating because I don't like my food to get cold. If y'all want to enjoy y'all food here for literally a third of the cost of what you would pay in a restaurant or in a grocery store, please visit cookunity.com. Use the coupon code for 50% off your first order, all right? Now go ahead and get out of my kitchen. I'm about to get down.
With who? With men?
Yeah, like no. How did you say, okay, I want to go from being a boy to a trans woman?
Oh.
Yeah, like.
Well, I think I want to just, I know you asked him a question, but I just want to say something. I think with that, it was two different things, and you can share. But the devil I was with, devil number one, was very abusive in every type of way.
His dad?
And I really, no,
Okay.
It wasn't physical dad. It was my ass second husband.
Okay.
And unfortunately, that had a lot to do with, I had said to Azario, I believe that you went extreme from living a homosexual life to transitioning to a transgender because of the abuse. And then I think also he saw different transgenders at some point in time, and it looked like a glamorous life.
Yeah, the grass looked greener.
And that's why, between the two reasons, I think that's what happened.
Because you're like this, like it's changed so much now. But this is like 2008, 2009, where I let a trans person come live with me. I was 19. I was in college, and like she said, the glamorous side of it, like the attention they would get from the gay community, because at the time they were held in high regard, and now the gay men think they're in competition with them. But that's another story for another day. But the privilege they would give them, oh, don't worry about it, I got you. They would give them money, they would buy them gowns, they would do it because a lot of them were check writers. That was a big stunt at the time. They were writing fraudulent checks. And the grass looked green, and I felt like at the time I knew my mom didn't accept the gay thing, so I was like, well, if she don't accept that, I might as well go all the way. That had a lot to do with it too. And my childhood, I still was very resentful that she allowed her second husband to terrorize me under the church says let a man raise, So yeah, I definitely was still resentful. So
So you felt like she didn't love you anyway?
Well, it's not that. I felt like, how could you? My mom used to be like my biggest protector, and then she married this man, and he tricked her into, I'm now gonna raise the boys because I'm the man of the house, and even though they're not my children, and they're gonna call me dad. I'm like, I never want to call this man dad. It was like I didn't recognize who my mom was while she was with him. It's like watching somebody change like overnight. You know what I'm saying? And he used that religion thing to his advantage because he knew that was important to her at the time, the Pentecostal religion. And so I think when I left her house to go to college, because I left to go to USF, which is like an hour away, I think I just got buck wild. And I think I just got worse and worse and worse and wilder and wilder and wilder.
Were you promiscuous in college and things?
To be honest, I always kind of like spinning the block with the same kind of person. So I never had like a lot of the same people, a lot of one night stands. I kind of have a one night stand. If it's bad, I never call you again. If it's good, I see you next week, Okay. So I was kind of like that. Okay. I think I became trans. I think I became promiscuous after I became trans because so many men, they be at you. They be at you so much when you look like how I looked, I think that's when the promiscuity started. Plus, the being trans introduced me to cocaine as well. Oh. But I had already seen it as a gay guy, but it was heavy in the trans community. I was like, wow, everybody was, if they was trans, they was doing coke at the time in Florida. So, and then I started doing it in New York with a trick when I was escorting. That's like 2010 maybe. And then I was on that for a long time. And
that's a lot of times we like to kind of skip over that, and the trans community is hell bent on, I was born like this is my life, this is my pronoun, but it's the things that they have to do to maintain it. They don't want to talk about that because they can't get regular jobs. They're discriminated upon, and so they do resort to prostitution and sex work. And it's like, do you truly want to live your life? First of all, being someone who is not accepted, and then
add that on top of
it. And then you expect us to be like, okay, you know what? We love you for who you are. And it's like, are you truly who you are? Do you really want to live like this?
I told somebody that one time. I was like, we got into an argument, so I probably used it against them. I was like, didn't know, but I was like, when you was I said, when you was growing up and we had them projects in 6th grade, 7th grade, they had career day, didn't nobody say, I want to grow up and be a sex worker? This is, because they were trying to basically beat down my throat, like trans and sex work just go hand in hand, you have to. I was like, no, sweetheart, you learned that, as you came out. Nobody wanted...
it's easy money, too.
Yeah, I sucked at it. That's why I only did it for like 2 or 3 years. I sucked at it. I was horrible. Because I would get the money. I would promise you everything on the phone. I would get the money and tell you, baby, you better jack off and get up out of here. I don't know what you got going on. Because it's the one... What you going to do, call the police? It's the one thing. It's the one transaction where I guarantee you your customer not calling the police. And I would use that to my advantage. And then most of the
clients, I ain't even got to do no work.
Yeah, because they're like, baby, get it hard. I'm like, I can't get hard for people like you. I'm sorry. I'm not attracted to you. Because that's what most people come for when it comes to trans sex workers. They come for the meats, no Arby's included. No.
But why trans, though? Why not just sleep with a man?
Because then that makes them feel gay. It's the psychology of, you gotta realize most men are visual. Most men are visual, visually appeased first. So in their heads, because I used to ask that question all the time, and then my friends be like, "Shut up, you messing up the money." I'm like, "So what makes you know you come for the meat, but you won't mess with my friend, and he's a man?" They're like, "Well, because that makes me feel gay." But you have a woman's face, you have a woman's breast, you have soft skin. So it's their own psychology. It's that customer or that man who's attracted to trans. It's their own psychology. There's men who you cannot convince them that they're gay because they're like, no, that's a woman. She just happens to have extra stuff. So, I tell people this. People got to go to bed with
essentially, the man is
themselves.
not gay, though. Because
correct. Because
if it's taking a woman to physically stimulate you, then maybe the conversation needs to be had with the partner that he's with, that these are the type of things that I need in order to come. And so did a lot of them ask you to, the fuck them from the bag? Do they want prostate massages? I mean, and I know because a lot of them it's hard to have that conversation with a woman. Like, I want you to fuck me in my ass. But
that conversation,
that's changing.
I was going to say that conversation is changing.
I would never do it.
Yes.
I mean, somebody was talking to me and talking to me. I said, no, because I had never heard it. And I went,
she asked me, and I was like, that's popular now.
I was like,
that's changing a lot.
I said, what is, how did I say it? I said, what is having sex with the butt?
What do they call it? He called it something else, rimming or something. He called it something.
He said he eat the butt. That's what he said.
I said, that's popular.
He didn't say eat the butt. I don't use profanity, so he didn't say eat the butt. He said, let me just let you know that I'm crazy about you.
Yeah.
I want to be with you. And we had never did anything. We just conversated on the telephone. So anyway, so he's like, I want to eat your ass. I was like, oh no. Not gonna happen.
She's so conservative.
So then when I said it to Azaria said, Mom, it's not but. I said, well, I don't use profanity. And I was like, ah!
Yeah. She said, do you do it? I said, all the time. She's like, ah!
And that was the first time
I was like, I said, I'm sure your son does too.
So it is. Okay. So anyway, it is definitely changing.
Or has tried it.
But I do want to say one thing that you all just talked about. You were saying that, I think you just said that when people are escorting, sometimes it's like it's easy money. I would say that just because the person is trans doesn't necessarily mean that they want to escort.
Right.
What I truly believe, and you can interject whenever you get ready, is that when they are changing and becoming a transgender, so many people don't treat them good.
Oh, yes,
and even when they start working on a job, I mean, because like even when I see it myself, and some people, look at them and they have these ugly faces, and they trying to send them to hell, and we all got to answer to God for ourselves, and they trying to send them to hell, and they harbor people.
So they resort
and you got you can have straight people treat them. Females treat them like that. Males treat them like that, and then some of the Christians treat them like that.
Yeah.
So when you look at it from that perspective, you as yourself don't want to go to a job and somebody just mistreating you because the way you look.
Yeah.
So they a lot of times experience that. Then they come, people talking. They know people talking because all of a sudden it gets silent.
It's kind of like you end up doing
on a job
sex work.
and basically being isolated. And sometimes fire, you can share.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes fire.
Yeah. That's how I end up escorting. But I think you basically go from, because you see other trans people, first of all, making faster money than you, and you're on a job, and it's always something. And I think you start to pick up a mantra of, let me go where I'm celebrated versus where I'm tolerated. And it's easy to do that, not just as a trans person, as a gay person, as a white person, as a black person, like anything where you go and because of your difference, you're mistreated, and you see other people just like you go somewhere else and they're, getting money. At the time, the trans had sugar daddies. Like it was a
lavish lifestyle.
It's a lavish lifestyle. So I think that's how you end up there. And then once you get a piece of that money, you're like, I was making what every 2 weeks? Why even go back? Now it's OnlyFans. Not everybody on OnlyFans. So they don't even got to see the guys. They could just...
People just come watch them and...
Yeah.
But maybe share with when you were transitioning how sometimes...
When I first started transitioning, I was
fired.
Going to college. I was in Tampa, and Tampa is like a call center heaven. You can get... It's so many call center jobs there. And so... I interviewed, because I was like 6 months in, I interviewed over the phone with my boy name, because that's what was all over my IDs anyway. And then I got the job, and my transgender, I guess, mentor, gay mother at the time was like, I think you should take this serious. I said, I'm gonna go to work for like a year, save all the money, and then start, transitioning. She said, well, if you serious, peer pressure. She said, if you serious, you should go to work your first day as a girl in drag, and then get the insurance, make the insurance pay for different stuff after. And she talked me into that. So 2 weeks later, I show up as a trans, with the hair and the clothes and all that. And the first day that when they called my name and I said, here, present, whatever, everybody was looking like, because that wasn't popular at the time, trans getting jobs. Trans was mostly escorting or doing drag or writing checks. And I was there for like 6 months, but it was always something because I was like the first trans person. Some of the men that was starting to work there, because it was like a training every month, they didn't know. And then they would go from not knowing, and then one day home was a clown and be like, you was talking to, and then it'd be a big hoopla. So it caused like all this ruckus at Capital One Auto Finance. It's the company. And and so at the call center, it became like I became like the call center celebrity. Not trying to be, just by default. Like everybody had to see the trans person on the 4th floor because it was 4 floors of agents. Everybody had to go see the trans person on the 4th floor. It became this thing, and my manager literally, like, I went from like a verbal to a written to a final to terminated like that. And then when I left, everybody was like, that's messed up. Like, y'all did that on purpose because of all the attention that she was getting and bringing and all this and all that. And then they end up admitting it later. But I think at the time, maybe they still is. Florida is a right to hire, right to fire state. So the lawyer that I had, God, was like, we can't. He looked into it extensively. And even though we had testimonials from the people that worked there was nothing we really could do to sue. But that broke my heart. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm done with corporate America. We're going to sell a little light lane today. And I started doing that. And it started going to New York and Phoenix and the cities that was popping, because it's like an underground, secret society. You know what cities to go to make your cash fast. And I went, within 2 months, I had enough money for my first set of implants. Went to Mexico with somebody else's passport and came back home with implants on my neck.
Oh my God, Mom, like what was going through your head?
Well, I want to start off with 2008. 2008, I went on a fast. And I fasted for 8 days. And at that time, when I was fasting, it was during the summer, because I remember my youngest being out of school that summer. Okay. They're like almost 7 years apart. Mm-hmm. And so anyways, Azario called me at the time. And we were talking. And I said, I just went on an 8-day fast, and I remember the first night, it's like the devil was literally choking me. And at that time, I didn't drink water, didn't eat for 8 days. And so after I had just finished the 8 days, that next day, Azario called me, and I was telling Azario about it. And 8 represents new beginnings. So I said, I had been praying and fasting, new beginnings for you. And my new beginnings was being delivered from the homosexual lifestyle and being what God had made him to be, which is a male. So, and he was like, well, what a coincidence, Mom. It was the opposite of what I had said. What a coincidence, Mom. I'm getting ready to start taking hormones, and I'm getting ready to transition to a female, and da-da-da-da. And so normally when I cry, I don't ever make noises. I'm literally standing outside with my telephone, and tears are just rolling down my face. I don't even cry when I go to a funeral.
Yeah, you don't.
Because I accept people came and we're leaving. We didn't come here to stay forever. And I'm crying. So eventually I went back in, tried to get my face together so my baby at the time wouldn't see that I had been crying. Shortly after, we met in Orlando. Mm-hmm. And that's when he didn't have the breasts or whatever, but started dressing like a female. So it wasn't long after that I saw, and I went to Orlando, and I just cried. It was the whole weekend. I cried the whole weekend. And at the time, he was still resentful. I don't believe he ever hated me for getting married to that. In that second marriage, I say marrying the devil in disguise, pretending to be a Christian and a minister and all of that. However, he said to me, "That's why I didn't want you to come and see me, because I knew you would cry. I knew you would do that." And I don't recall, like, if that weekend, if we went and got something to eat, it's like we just got something to eat and I was just in the room, just crying that whole weekend. And at the time I lived in West Palm. We met in Orlando. So by the grace of God, I got back home because I cried. I don't remember the exits. I cried the entire way back home. Only thing I remember is getting on the exit to go back home, and next thing I know, I was home. But I cried the entire time. So I went through that for some years. I fasted. I cried. I would lose 30 pounds, and at some point in time, God gave me peace. Mm-hmm. However, I was still doing quietly praying, and I was asking the Lord, let me see the transition. That's what I'm seeing now. It took me a while to start saying Ashley. I would say my oldest. Every time I would talk, I would just say my oldest, my oldest, my oldest. And eventually,
probably about a year,
I started saying Ashley. So with other Christians that talked to me, they were like, well, I just don't, understand it. And because they started getting transgender on their job. And I said, sometimes it's not always, maybe you accept or you don't as a co-worker.
It's respect.
But respect the name.
It's respect.
If that person is saying, hey, call me, they got hired as Ashley, why are you trying to call that person something totally differently? Because you want somebody saying whatever they want to say to you. So give the person the respect, if not anything else. Mm-hmm. You say you're a Christian, so pray. You don't have to let everybody know you're praying. So at some point in time, when and even the class reunion, I said, God is going to be dealing with you. I kept saying that all last year. I said, God is going to be dealing with you.
Yeah, I went to my class reunion last year.
I said, your class reunion is not just for you to go.
Yeah.
I said, you're going to have encounters with God. God is just going to be dealing with you. And so when he finally said, Mom, I'm changing back, I wasn't surprised because God is still working miracles. So a lot of times parents lose their children because they're like, I'm not accepting it, and God did this and God did that. We still had those conversations. We didn't get into altercations, but we still had those conversations from time to time. God made you a man, a boy, then you turned into a man. However,
but we didn't have
living like this.
No time
but
recent.
It wasn't
like in the last few years.
It wasn't knockouts and we screaming or hollering or whatever. We didn't ever do that.
I didn't know she still was praying secretly because once she had started
praying for our kids.
Quietly.
Yeah, I didn't know because she had became
but I was still
so
praying.
Ashley Shalani, my daughter.
Oh, definitely.
Publicly for so long.
Definitely.
Especially after I got my real estate license 10 years ago. I didn't know she still was praying secretly. So I guess this is proof to parents that you can respect your children publicly and still be praying privately. Because I didn't know that.
She didn't want to lose you.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. So this is what I would say, what you just said. For me, I love my children unconditionally. So at the end of the day, I do believe in God, and it's obvious he was believing in God too to talk the way he's talking about making the change. If you say you love your children, and this is what really came to me, how can you be a Christian and you say you love everybody else? Go to church, you do everything, you love everybody else, but then when your child just chose to live that life like that, and you don't want anything to do with that child, that isn't love.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're saying, oh, it's okay, and da-da-da. No, that's not what I'm saying. So the only difference I did when I moved to Atlanta, May 17, 2020. I started going to drag shows.
Yeah,
my family found out about it. And of course, some of them said whatever they said. This is my child. I was there, went together. They always came to me, hugging me.
Always.
Thank you for coming. I just love the way you support. My mom don't talk to me. My dad don't talk to me.
Yes.
It was my love. Yeah. So yes, I was there, and I was clapping, and I was throwing my dollars. I made sure I had money. Yes, I did all of that. Yeah. And when he said he wasn't going, I was like, why are we not going?
Yeah, once I said I was done with all that.
But I'm saying, like, even when you had got booking and then you said you had something to do, I was like, can you kind of like try to work that part out? And we still go. And
It became your
took
thing.
not
You
going.
liked it, yeah.
I took not going better than he did because he been stopped in the one or two or three times. The last time that he went, it was Mom.
Yeah. Can you
wanted to
please
go.
do the booking? And I was like, Mom, I'm so done with that life.
It was me. Because I went to those shows, I sold cakes and sweet potato pies, and then we stopped because he wasn't going anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, I accepted it. God was doing something more than 1 or 2 years because didn't desire wanted to go.
And they was begging me. She could tell you they was begging me.
Yes.
Please come do the show. Please, please.
So you were doing drag shows and everything.
Yes, yes, definitely. And I used to tell people, Beyonce and
I would do
Nicki
Beyonce,
Minaj
some of
and all
everybody.
them don't have anything on the dancing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I grew up dancing, so
So all of that, going to the floor
choreography
and doing
is
all of this.
second nature for me.
Yeah. Well, Nicki
And
Minaj
so-
can't dance.
Well, I'm
at
just
all.
saying, all the ones that you all say can
Yeah,
dance
yeah.
doesn't have anything. That's all I'm saying. I just say her because, she's well known. But I'm just saying all of that, go to the floor and shake, and all of that. Definitely.
She saw the
And
body.
it was straight. It was straight. It was females that only loved men and was married would find him after the show and say, "Can you show me how to shake my butt like that?" And,
Can you start a class? Can you start a twerking class?
Definitely, yes. And what he would say to me, he says, "Well, I wanna talk to your daughter," because it was always Ashley. Shalani. I want to talk to your daughter afterwards. So I would say, "Hey," we would have people that sometimes maybe went with their husband or their best friends, and they want to know how to shake.
Yeah.
Dance.
That Florida water.
Yes. Yes, definitely.
The most
So-
entertaining state in the United States of America.
Agreed.
Florida.
Agreed.
So it's interesting to see how you went from just being, just incredibly depressed
Oh,
to
definitely.
now you like
Definitely.
her biggest fan at the time.
Oh, I
and
have been.
I'm saying her at
Oh,
in
yeah.
that
You're
time.
talking about Ashley, yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
And so and then everything that you grew to love is now
Changing
gone.
again.
No. Because it's still God, and I still wanted God to do the change in my child. So that didn't ever change.
But most trends never
Even
go
though
back.
I was there,
They don't.
watching everything, I still knew that God still worked miracles. And so for me, this was a miracle. Because my mom even said to me one day, "Oh, well, when they go that far, they don't ever change back." I didn't ever believe that. God is still real. We all do what we want to do at the end of the day, but God is still God, and God is still real.
And like I said, I
So
didn't
I
know.
know.
2022 was when I started having the thoughts became the decision. Like, I don't want to take hormones forever because I don't want to be a patient forever. I don't want to keep talking to men and having to text them that I'm trying. It was a domino effect. But 3 years ago, you couldn't have told me. Because 3 years ago, I still was doing shows. We still was, I still was going on dates with men, going on trips with men, So just 3 years ago, and
Everything has changed.
and having sex with both, my stud friend and my male friend, and back and forth. And sometimes they find out about each other, and and my stud friend, she tried to one night she was like, "I don't like when people have sex with men because men on men sex stink." I was like, "What?" I was like, "What you mean?" She's like, "I could smell it on you when you been had sex with a man."
Oh, damn.
She used to be so mad, but we would have mad day, and that was her jab all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, it was hilarious though.
One thing I do want to say that at the end of the day, I believe it's sin is sin. So this is the thing I started telling people. You can look at my oldest and say, "Oh, living a transgender life," but at the same time, if my youngest having more sex than married people, it's still sin.
Fornication, and my pastor talk about fornication a lot.
Still sin.
He talks about the trans and gay thing too. That's how I knew I was at the right church when he finally brought that up one night. You remember the night he brought it up? He brought it up. He goes there, and my pastor only 40, but he goes there. But he goes there on everything. He's not one of the people like, "You're gay, you're going to hell." He's like, no. He's like, you gay, God still loves you. However, that was not God's original design for you. That was from the earth. God says, "Be fruitful and multiply." And you can't do that with another man, young man.
Yes.
That's where he goes. You can't do that with another young woman.
Yes.
Because a lot of my church has attracted
like we done lost count, a lot of studs that are now reformed, and all they was doing, like, it's a miracle to see them. It's a miracle to watch them.
Yes.
So they're no longer
even
sleeping
be-
with women. They're
Yes.
No longer.
No,
They're not even. They're not even operating
Dressing
as
differently.
masculine.
Yes.
And like we at the tail end.
Yes,
I just came
yes.
start coming to this church in
Yes,
November.
yes.
And so to see their old pictures and their
Yes.
old videos and to have that conversation with them,
Yes.
like they're like this church, the conviction in this church.
Yes.
And I mean, like these are like you have to see them like studs, like niggas, basically. And we're watching them get more feminine by the day and
Dressing differently.
want men. And so, yeah, my pastor said, because of y'all, he's like, because of you, Azario, and y'all, he said, they're going to call this the gay concentration church. Because so many of us are changing under that ministry. And he's like, but I'm ready for it.
What's the name of the church?
Encounter Atlanta.
Okay.
Encounter Atlanta, Pastor Dr. Gabriel Powell. But like what I'm saying, he doesn't just go there on gays. He go there on.
Yeah.
He talks about fornication the most because it's a young church. Like I'm probably I'm one of the oldest people in the church, and I ain't even 40 yet. You know, my pastor's one of the oldest people in the church. The average member is like 27. It's like 700 people, and all of us are young. So it's a lot of horniness in that church. And he talks about it's a lot of horniness in that church. And we come and get in this word saying we need to be celibate and not fornicating. But at the church, it's hard. You look good. You look good too.
Yeah,
good to
but
see you. Good to see you too.
At the same time, the church have a combination of every. Because it's a lot of.
I mean, it's Atlanta too, so I
But I
mean,
was just gonna
yeah.
say it's a lot of straight females, and I just want to say for me,
Yeah, it's mostly females too.
I remember one of the and just picking back on what he said. I remember one service, I was literally in tears because he was talking to straight females. He said the reason why y'all don't have husbands is because you got a bad attitude.
Yeah.
You have
He
degrees,
goes there.
you have homes, you have cars, you
Yeah.
have this, you have that. But you have a bad attitude.
And the way
And
you
as
talk
a
to
man,
men.
a man gonna say, hey, I like the booty, but hey, she got a bad attitude. Shorty is fine, but Shorty have a bad attitude. Say, what man want to be with you? And I was just sniffing. Because at the time, I did get delivered from my bad attitude. I was like very passive and little Jesus, as he would always say,
Growing
just
up.
took everything. And then it's like, oh.
So as soon as
But
she found her voice, it's
stayed
like,
there.
Right,
I stayed
right.
there for a short period of time. But when he made that statement, I was like I need to change from how I respond, especially with a man that say he likes me. And when he made that statement, he said, a lot of y'all are single because of your attitude.
Yeah.
So he speaks.
So he speaks on
everything.
everything.
That's good.
But because myself and other people are gonna, say that they got delivered under that ministry, that's what people gonna say. Oh, that church is the problem. They judge gays and trans. No, but he's just not finna skip over it like a lot of churches do. A lot of churches skip over that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They skip over that the Bible does say be fruitful and multiply.
So are you done now? Okay. So how long have you been transitioning back to male? Well, I'm not gonna say transitioning back to male because you've always been a man.
Just returning back to how
Right,
returning back to
right.
who I was born to be. Yeah, that's how I look
Okay.
at it too. I actually hate the whole detransition word. So
Yeah.
we on the same page there.
Okay.
I've been on my journey of returning back to the way I was born. Physically, October. So like stop wearing the girl clothes, stop the wig, stop.
So
the
this
nails.
past October.
Yeah, this
Wow.
past October, I had started already talking about it.
We are
and I had
truly
told
in
my
the age
mom.
of Aquarius, like they're saying.
And I had told my mom, I said, Mom, because I didn't go to my 10-year class reunion because I was so high on drugs, I looked at like a toothpick, 10 years ago. So when the 20-year came up, and I was popular at my white high school, so they were like, make sure you come. They've been, begging me for a year. But summertime was when that whole thought process about returning started. I was like, they've been dying to meet Ashley since we left, since they found out about. And so I was like, Mom, I'm going to go to my reunion as Ashley. But then I said, after that, that's it probably. And I went as Ashley. And it's like she said, as I was going, a voice kept telling me, like, this is their first time meeting Ashley, but it's also their last time meeting Ashley, And the whole time I was there, I didn't feel right. I kept telling her that, like, each night afterwards, we'll have a recap. And she's like, how did everything go? How did everybody receive you? Was they excited? I was like, yeah, they were, but I wasn't. And I didn't know why. It took me to start going to service to realize why. Because everybody was so excited. And, once they saw me, oh my God, you're so beautiful, even more beautiful in person, da 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 da. And I didn't feel like you would have thought I would have felt waiting on that moment for 10 years. I've been waiting on this moment for 10 years. and I'm getting the feedback I knew I probably would get, plus some. People begging to take pictures, but I didn't feel right. And I know now because they shouldn't have met Ashley. They should have met me. They should have met, who they knew in high school. And so now I get it.
Wow.
Yeah, now I get it. So yeah, it's been.
So you're done with men
months.
as well?
Yeah, I haven't touched a man in so long. I get aggravated with men now. It's actually like, and she started laughing because there was one who I told about this, and he just would not like take no for an answer. He's like, well, we could still just be friends then. We could just still be homies. Like, right? Like he will not.
You were the one saying the homie. He wasn't trying to be homie.
I was like, well, he has no choice. He was like, well, if I ain't got no choice, then, He's like, but I got to be in your life some kind of way.
So what was it about men that you just didn't like?
I don't know. Maybe a lot of it was hormone induced because, like I said, I got off hormones for a while first, and then I don't know. I just got tired. I guess I'm like I done did everything I want to do. I done had I look like I look. I done had so many men. I done had them from the front, from the back, from the side. Like I done did everything, and I think at first I thought it was a phase. I was just like, I'm just not feeling nobody right now. And then the desire never returned. The attraction just never returned. But I also haven't been off hormones this long either. It's been almost 13 months now, So maybe old age, maybe getting off hormones, deliverance. I don't know.
I was gonna say God was dealing with you a lot too.
So you want to?
Because I started telling her, she was like, you haven't been going out and hanging out with guys and going on trips, like, because that was a part of my life. And I was like, yeah, I'm just over men right now. I just kept telling her that. And the right now just stayed. And so now it's like natural.
Your stud girlfriend kept you there.
She popped up. She came back around too. And so, yeah, but she has mood. You know how women are. The mood swings and the...
Men can be that way too. So.
Yeah, but no matter what, no matter how masculine and hard studs try to act, when that time come, those symptoms show up, put it like that. Yeah. And hers is bizarre. Hers is like out there. So we always have our, okay, we're not talking right now, stage. So yeah.
But remember the weekend that I went to Tallahassee? Mm-hmm. How God really, really dealt with you for like hours and hours
yeah.
Crying, dealing and that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I read this book by Sarah Jakes Roberts called Don't Settle for Safe.
I love her.
Me too. And I got to the chapter number 7 about forgiveness. And that chapter, you got to be by yourself. I don't care who you are. I don't care how hard you are. That chapter, I don't care what kind of thug, DMX style. That chapter will tear you up. That chapter will tear you
Shout the book out again. I love everything that Sarah Jakes Roberts did.
Sarah Jakes Roberts, Don't Settle for Safe.
Okay, Don't Settle for Safe.
Powerful.
Right, definitely going to get that book. And so it's safe to say that, there is a God.
Yeah.
And if you pray hard enough, like I said, parents, we never stop praying.
Yeah, I see.
Ever. Like I pray for my kids. I could be just sitting in my dressing room and just be praying for my kids, just praying because you're not there. You're not there to protect them, especially when they're out the house. And it's like, my God, like I got to go to sleep at night not knowing my child is in the room safe.
That's true.
It's so, and when you have children one day,
yeah.
You better be praying now.
Yeah, I am. Trust me. Everything I took my mom through. Trust
you better be praying.
Because mine gonna take me.
You better be patient.
I have to be.
You have to be. But I think it's absolutely amazing. And like I said, what type of heat are you getting from the LGBTQ community now?
Everything.
Oh, they
that you coming out and saying that.
Oh, they mad, man. So let me say this too, because they were like, a lot of them feel like, I'm getting a lot of heat, but I don't really get on Facebook like that. A lot of it's coming from Facebook. Like they going live, they making posts, they're reposting it. They're trying to say the only issue we got with it is, at first it was you should have went and did that silently by yourself, because now you got everybody thinking that we're all crazy and we all are confused, when just because you don't know who you want to be, we knew who we want to be. So I said, okay, cool. I said, so basically my personal journey is a testament for an entire community. Yeah. Then it was like, nah, but you know what? It ain't even that. It's that you said the devil tricked you and God brought you back. That's the issue we have with it. You put the devil in it when
So they don't believe in God or the
make
devil?
decisions for your own self. Now let's go there. These same folks, when they win a pageant, oh Lord, thank God, thank you. Like you should see the post. God, thank you so much for helping me capture my dream. Da da da. So it's just the hypocrisy. But one of my friends had to call me, who's been in the lifestyle forever, and I love you so much. Christian Balenciaga. He's a makeup artist to the stars. He did the Housewives, the Married to Medicine People.
Okay.
You know, he's Iyanla's only makeup artist. He was like, you have to realize they're not just losing a trans person. He said they're losing one of their premier Barbie doll real estate agent. You know, the relationship you have with your mom. He said half their mamas would never even call them nothing outside their boy name. He said they're like, you're one of like, you know what I'm saying?
They want to be you.
It's like the black community losing like a Rihanna or you know, somebody like that. You know, he said they're not taking it well because they're not losing just one of the regular only fan girls. They're losing one of the ones that made the community look good. That made the trans community look so good. He says, and you're doing it so fast. And he said, and you're unapologetic about it. Because I don't care who I have to lose. I just can't lose myself again. And so that's what it is too. And so their tactics of manipulation that usually would work on the average person are not working on me. The whole way, you know what? Make sure you stay over there because if you change your mind, try to come back. We're not welcoming you with open arms. I was like, I haven't seen most of y'all in over a year or two. What makes you think? Like, who are you? Like, why do you think you're God? I don't need your acceptance, your approval, or your validation. That's the problem now. It goes too far. It goes too far. So I'm receiving a lot of heat. And it's crazy because like some of these hoes I done took care of. They done slept on my floor. I done bonded them out of jail. I done gave them free hormones. I done gave them, you know, free surgery advice. But the minute you tell people no, you know how it is. The minute you tell people no, everything you did goes out the window.
Yeah.
So I wish them all well, but this is not an attack on the entire community. This is a personal journey back to the way God made me. Most trans people are gonna die trans people, and that's what's up. Most trans people, if they could not be trans, they may not even want to exist, and that's what's up. But I'm not about to silence my personal journey. I wasn't silent in the sin. I wasn't silent in the transition. I wasn't silent in the... We were hanging out, doing all of that.
Come on now.
So if I wasn't silent coming in, why would I be silent going out? This is helping so many people. Not just people that are thinking about detransitioning. I have people that's telling me, you know, I've been looking for a sign to, you know, transition out of my situation. Like,
so it's what you represent is that they're upset about.
Yes. Because he told me, he was like, you know, they making lives. They making 2 and 3 hour symposiums. They saying, you know, if you really cared about us, you would go do this silently so that...
You know what they're going to say about you sitting with me?
It's an election year. I mean, I don't care. I don't care.
She hates trans.
They about to go crazy. But I mean...
I'm like, how could it... And here's my issue. And I know you gave T.S. Madison props. And, you know, your relationship with T.S. Madison is your relationship with T.S. Madison.
We don't have one. I just gave her one of my... I gave her... the cleanser that we use the most. I gave her that twice.
Okay,
I've only met
cool.
T.S. Madison one time, and that was doing that. So I don't have a relationship with her.
No, it's just that, you know, T.S. Madison and I have had a history. It's never been an issue about her being a trans woman or anything. And I've done her show several
weren't
times.
y'all cool first? Because I vaguely followed y'all thing,
like,
y'all feud.
You know, my husband's been around. She's been around my kids. So the moment I call her out, as she's used her platform to call me out, I call her out. Now you got a whole trans community
that hate you,
saying that I'm transphobic. I'm like, but was I transphobic when I was working with you and helping you? Why was I working with you? A phobia is I don't want to be around you. Keep that lifestyle away from me. T.S., I've never... So now that the narrative is not going your way and I'm holding you to the fire because... I don't see you out here standing up for trans women. I see you out here standing up for when it's beneficial, when your check is being paid. No, trans women should not be getting murdered at all. Okay? And the real transphobia is the underground market that's happening, and they're getting paid to be silent. And these men don't want to walk into Applebee's or Ross with them, but they want to pay you under the table to be quiet. And so when you, as a person that's being looked at to the trans community, is put in a position, you have to speak out on both sides. You have to condemn the fuck shit, and you have to give props when props is given. And so, yes, when I see trans women saying that women are jealous of trans women, or, you know, we want to be them. You're gonna respect us as women because we are women. It's like the misogyny of it all.
Right.
Like the only people that think like that are misogynistic, and it's men that have been oppressive to the entire society. And let's start with white men. And so I'm like, T.S., this is bullshit. Like you come out here, you do great things. I say you're funny. I say that you're people love your wittiness. But I'm gonna call the fuck shit out when I call it. And you did not condemn that trans woman who was born a man and still has male parts, putting their hands on a woman, or calling a woman a bitch, or calling a woman out their name. No, ma'am. Or you addressing a woman's period as something that's disgusting. But you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a woman. And your reference to what a woman is comes from your mother, because you look just like her, just like you look just like your mom.
Yeah. So is that how you and T.S. Madison got there?
That's how we got there, because I'm like, girl, just like as a black woman, I'm expected to use my platform to speak for the black woman. You have a platform as a trans woman. Don't be trying to play it safe because you don't want your check messed up in the trans community. What they did to Flame, they tried to blackball Flame.
Really?
Yes, but Dave Chappelle said not today.
Oh, really?
Yes, they was canceling gigs at clubs, wouldn't work. Was matter of fact booking T.S. Madison over Flame because Flame did not condone the bullshit, the very bullshit that you're going through, and said, "Well, we're gonna stop your bag." And Dave Chappelle said, "Not today," and he was labeled transphobic and everything because he told jokes. And it's like, if we can tell jokes about heterosexual people, why can't we tell jokes about trans people?
You know, it's the double standard of a lot of people. A lot of because my mom started saying it as we started going out to the shows, because with me being one of the entertainers, she would get backstage access that most people don't see. And so people would a lot of the trans people, they would start these little just play reads, but then when somebody turned around on them, they would literally be ready to physically fight, right? And she'd be like, but this person always starting with, I'm like, it's so much healing. There's so much healing that needs to be done. Yeah. Because that kept happening, and it got to the point where we knew certain people, and she'd be like, oh, that's why you don't play with that person. I say, no, because if they try to nut with me, we gonna tear that dressing room up. And she'd be like, I know y'all are. So certain people I would just speak to, and that's it. And she'd be like, they tried to have a conversation with you, but you would avoid it. Yes, because I already know they can dish, but they can't take. And I'm not ever gonna let you dish and not, I'm a boomerang. Whatever you throw this way is definitely coming right back, and probably a little faster. So there's a lot of healing that needs to be done. There is a lot of double standards that happens, just like the black community and the trans community. There's a lot of double standards. There's a lot of, I could dish it, but you better not give it back. And it's like, no, that's not how that goes.
And as comedians, in Dave Chappelle's defense, because I'm a comedian as well,
right? We
take pain and make it funny. So that you don't have to deal with the pain. But it seems like and he said, the LGB is fine, Q, but it's the T's that's fucking it up.
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh.
The T's is setting everybody fucking back because, and maybe it does have to do with the hormones that you're on, because think about it, as women, our hormones can be up, ravaging one day, the next day they're not, depending on our ovulation, our cycle, and things like that. Emotion, stress, triggers, hormones. We go crazy. And so imagine you being on something that's artificially made. Yeah. Okay.
Not real.
Not real. And then you're having to function in society as a new person, being judged. And then you're on this medication. And then you're feeling some of the things that we feel. And then you still got your underlying male hormones. Yeah. Is there some sort of, let's just say, foundation of mental illness that could occur as a result of the imbalance chemically?
Definitely. There's definitely psychological and emotional issues that come from taking hormones. Seriously, my best friends that literally knew me, the two that knew me since, since we created our friendship in high school, they started saying, Randy and Phillip, they started saying when they could tell, they could say, I could tell when you have a lot of hormones in you because you spaz out mentally. They will always say that, but it becomes something that people just accept. And it becomes this thing where trans people say, well, pain is beauty. So sometimes if I'm mentally in pain, as long as I'm looking like I need to look, it's overlooked. Now, because they're starting so much younger, they're starting to, I heard in some states, but need to be all states, they're starting to require counseling if you're going to be on hormones as well. But that's something that should have been started. There's a lot of people. I know this girl, she is in prison for the rest of her life because her and her boyfriend decided to kill somebody in Alabama and then drove all the way back to Stockbridge. And when they got to Stockbridge, as soon as they walked in the house, that apartment complex was surrounded by the SWAT team. And she ended up blaming it, on hormones, and she had got castrated, which means, that changed a lot up here as well.
Yeah.
And nobody talked about that. But after she went in, I have this thing where I get it from her. People feel like they can open up to me, where they won't tell nobody else, they'll tell me. So I talked to her. I asked Kiki, I was like, would you think it would have been the same had you not been? And she was like, nah. She was like, as I'm just thinking about the whole thing, like I was mentally weak. I had just took some shots, some hormone shots, and I've been castrated. She said, my castration, it never balanced out psychologically. I was like, for real? She's like, yeah, never.
And that's a good point that you're making because, and I'm glad that you brought that up, from a personal experience that you had with someone, because men are very physical creatures. Like y'all are physical. You have to, put your hands on things and build things. You gotta, like now, I call it an epidemic with young boys where they feel like, oh, young boys are ADHD or they're autistic because they won't sit still or they won't focus. It's not in the genetic makeup for a man to sit still. They're supposed to be out working, touching things, building things. You know what I'm saying? If a woman needs something, the community needs something, they assemble to get it. And when they're angry, having that outlet, the wrestling, the running, the exhausting yourself. And then when you take sex away, because sex is deemed as a sport to a man, psychologically, it's like that aggression can really turn into, me murdering someone all because I'm not letting off.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And
people that are castrated, they have a very low sex drive because of that's where the testosterone is at. You just took it away. Yeah.
And it's gotta come out some other way.
Yes.
So what other way is it gonna come out?
Yeah.
And so not being able to control your emotions. It happens with people with hyperthyroidism. Let's take hyperthyroidism, for example. Mine was misdiagnosed. And so I would get angry so bad to the point where it would be like, I would black out. I would literally black out, not knowing what has happened, not knowing that my hormones are off. Your thyroid controls all of your hormones, the food, the water, all of these things are taken into account. The makeup, the lotions that we put onto our skin, the air that we're breathing, the water, like everything.
They had a talcum powder. They had a talcum powder recall with Johnson & Johnson, right?
Johnson & Johnson.
That's
throwing
true.
off, the ovaries. The ovaries are part of your hormonal system, your endocrine system. And so there's just so many factors. And it was like, oh my God, like I can't believe I was getting angry to the point where I literally wanted to physically hurt someone. And I would wake up. When my cycle started, it would be blood everywhere. And the day before, I would be so angry to the point where I'm like, I could punch a hole through a wall.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And imagine I'm not taking any hormones.
Yeah, exactly. This is just
your
natural system.
The natural environment saying your thyroid is off. Look what happened. And losing control. And I would have to apologize to everybody that was around me the day before.
That's why I say in a lot of ways, the trans community mimics the gay community. How, like you said, that went undiagnosed for so long, how health is such a taboo, and now we're starting to catch up and go get checked and stuff like that. Same thing with the trans community. Like when you take hormones, they do conjugate your liver. You should be going to see an endocrinologist all the time. But for a long time, I wasn't required to. Then later on, they started requiring it. I think mental health, just like endocrinology is a part of it, mental health needs to be a part of it. You need to make people, if they're gonna change like that, they change their chemicals in their body and mix the two and have this unbalance. You need to go, it needs to be required statewide, nationwide, especially because people are starting younger,
How do you feel politically? And Mom, this is a question for you too, about them saying that the fact that a child can walk in without the parents' permission and be given hormones and be supported by government-funded facilities to transition or to be openly gay or lesbian or anything like that. And how can I put this? There are certain people that think that this type of government funding and being able to take the rights away from a parent and I guess elevating sexuality is a gateway for pedophilia.
That's a good question.
I would say for me, I wouldn't ever be for it.
Yeah, that's too young.
A child is a child, and even sometimes when you're 20, 25, you're still trying to figure life out. You're still young. Well, you are trying to figure life out, and to give that child, children, those privileges, that is, to me, is really, really sad where we are. Also, I was big on not even being okay with condoms to a child because because again, they didn't need to be in a position to just, I have a condom so I can just start having sex. And parents need to be involved in their children's life. Those conversations need to be taking place, but to give a child that privilege it's just really sad. We're going so much backwards in life. It's really sad. The child is still the child, and parents' responsibility is to take care of those children, give those children knowledge. And I think at some point in time, we're gonna see that it is a big mistake that they're doing.
To piggyback off
really
of that,
is.
I think developmentally, it's the wrong thing to do, because I think one of my doctor friends from a while ago, he said that some women can still be going through puberty up until they're 21. Some men until they're 25. He said some men,
not mature.
if their puberty cycle started late, they can go through puberty till they're 25. Because I had a friend that was like our height all our life, and then like 21, he spurted. But he got his puberty spurt late because when we were younger and we were going through all our, he wasn't. And so I think that if you're doing that, you're stopping. Because what if a child changes their mind, I think I might be the most viral public one now, but there's going to be a lot of people that realize for whatever reason that they should not have transitioned, or that I've transitioned, I've had my fun, I'm done. Because I know somebody who did. He was like, he said his story is different from mine. He said he did it for drag reasons because they were getting more bookings and stuff. He's older. He said, I knew. He said, when I laid on that table the first time and got augmented and stuff, he said, I knew. I told God, if you let me have a successful drag career, when I turn 40, I'll start my detransition. He didn't start till he was 45. And I was like, wow. I said, so you always knew? He said, yeah. So I'm thinking, what if a lot of people know that? Like, hey, it is a wild decision to do that for so long. But what if
like playing a character?
Yeah, I want to just play around for 15 years. And then when I turn 38, I'm going to start having children and go back to being, So I think that developmentally, it is too far. And how can you not have had any... You haven't had any say-so, any influence in this person's upbringing, but all of a sudden you want to have influence in them transitioning their gender without their parent? That's too far.
You don't know these children.
That's too far.
Never been around them.
That's too far. You just passing laws just to get that's too far.
I can't remember the state. It was somewhere out Midwest. I want to say Wisconsin somewhere. But there was a child who was a problem child for their parents their whole life. And this child would do things to get attention. And so the new thing this time was, I'm trans.
Oh.
Call me this.
Okay.
And so it got to the point where the school got involved. The parents was like, listen, the little girl is delusional. Okay? Do not believe her. She's a liar. She's been a problem for us since she was a kid.
Who knows better than the parents?
Right. The government stepped in because they felt like, she's not getting the support she needs at home. They removed that child from the home. So that the parents were not supporting her pronouns, her transition, put her into a trans facility, and is now giving that 13-year-old child hormones to transition.
That's way too young.
The parents are not allowed to see the child. All rights have been stripped.
Oh, wow, that's way too
And
young.
they were told by a judge that they would be held in contempt of court for speaking out. This is a recent story. They said the hell with that. This is my child.
Oh, yeah.
I'm speaking out. And the fact that the government can come in and say that I am not appropriate to raise my child. You haven't been with my child. You haven't given birth to my child at all. And now you can come in and try to say
And silence me.
And silence me? Absolutely
my
not.
amendment rights.
And I want to say this too, because a lot of people, and this is where I get a lot of scrutiny, and it's mainly from the LGBTQ community, because all right, winos, you guys know that I am busy as hell, okay? And so when I hit a lick, you hit a lick too. You guys know that we have businesses, we got kids, we got all sorts of things going on, and we just don't have time to cook a lot. And a lot of times we don't have time to eat out because it's either too expensive, and we also don't have time to grocery shop because it's too expensive as well. But I'm gonna tell you something, when I found Cook Unity, all of that changed. Not only are they offering me gourmet meals made by real chefs, okay, that you can select from. They got hundreds of meals for all sorts of diets, whether you vegan, vegetarian, paleo, gluten-free, dairy-free, whatever it is that you have. They have fresh, never frozen meals ready to prepare that comes right to your door in this container here so that you can prepare it for your family, okay? It saves time, money, and everything like that. So me and Shaq have literally worked 14 hours today. We don't have time to go sit in no restaurant because I'm actually working right now while I'm doing it. And so while I'm working, I'm actually eating. So my two meals that I chose today are the stir-fried coriander lemongrass shrimp made by Chef Abe Moyes. And if you scan that little barcode, you can learn more about your meal there as well. The reason I chose this particular meal is because it has 24 grams of protein, all right? And you guys know that I'm always in the gym trying to build my little booty, trying to build my little legs, trying to lose fat and things like that. And then of course I gotta keep my husband's protein count up too as well. And so today Shek is going to be having the Mediterranean salmon and quinoa bowl. He loves salmon, and of course salmon is really loaded with protein. This has 40 grams and it's made by Chef Ruben Garcia. And if you scan that little barcode right there to tell you a lot about your chef as well as the ingredients and things like that. Now you can either microwave the meals or you can heat up the meals. I gotta get to eating because I don't like my food to get cold. If y'all want to enjoy y'all food here for literally a third of the cost of what you would pay in a restaurant or in a grocery store, please visit cookunity.com. Use the coupon code for 50% off your first order, all right? Now go ahead and get out of my kitchen. I'm about to get down. You take a child, let's say I'm raised in Panama City, Florida, right? Mm-hmm. If I was raised in New York, my childhood would be completely different.
Oh, yes.
My thought process would be different.
Definitely.
If I was raised in, let's say, Hungary, I would speak Hungary,
Right.
Whatever language they speak.
Right.
Okay? And so there's a lot of thought leaders that I follow, and I applaud Oprah for opening the door to some of these thought leaders like Deepak, right?
Okay.
And so Deepak, there was a video coming across social media, and I sent this to my husband, and he said, wow. Because here's the thing, like, I have a son that is 4 years old, about to be 5.
Okay.
We took him out of the American society because we wanted him to be raised the same way his father was raised, mm-hmm. okay? Which is in Africa, brought up with the African values, the importance of family, the importance mm-hmm. of education, the importance of understanding your role as a man in society. Mm-hmm. And society is not raising you. And so just in over less than a year, he's lost his American accent. He's now speaking 3 or 4 languages.
Oh, wow.
When he sees his grandmother, say for instance, if he saw you or any woman, he would take your purse, set it down. He wouldn't let you carry any bags. You know, he's quickly catching on to the men that are raising him, okay? And it's not a perverted society. No. It's a very spiritual-led society. Yeah. The men handle the men. They make sure that the men are protecting the women. The women don't open doors. Now, yes, they cook and clean, but for the most part, the man's job is to serve and protect the woman and the children, right?
Influence is huge.
Influence is huge.
I feel like if I was raised in a household, like if her second husband was somebody and my father was strong enough, or my father was strong enough, I was raised in a household with a strong man that had values and loved me properly and trained all the things,
you mentally.
I would have never even considered trans. I would have never considered that.
But I want to say
because I would have looked up to my father.
Okay.
Yeah, and I want to say too, a lot of time people may not look at it from this perspective. What I truly believe, and you can interject when you get ready. A lot of times when men change over to females being a transgender, they haven't had that male figure in their life. So let's just say that. Been raised, and because the mother has been the closest parent to them, at a very young age, they start wanting to do the things and be
I can agree.
from a mother, a female, and not a male.
I think that's the first point of influence.
And also, a lot of times, they are so broken.
Yes, because I was.
Not healed, not getting counseling, and a lot of time not having family members that they can just go talk to.
And let me say this.
That will not judge them.
And piggyback off
Talk to them and love them and still tell them the truth.
Yeah. And when you are broken, you know, your age makes you grown. Your decisions make you an adult. When you are a broken, grown person, you can be swayed anywhere the wind blows. You can be influenced to do all kind of stuff, you know? That's why we used to laugh at it, but now we'd be like, we get it now. Because I went to white schools, and when their parents would get a divorce, they'd be like, oh, I gotta go to freaking counseling with my mom and dad tonight. But white people get in front of therapy. They get in front of counseling. They get in front of, you know, the trauma, because they know it's coming, and they know if they don't, it's gonna make bad decisions. Because I used to always have these white friends like, I gotta go to counseling because my parents getting divorced, or my dad got back on drugs. Like, you know, and we would laugh at it, you know, because like I said, I went to a school where I was like sometimes the only black child in honors classes. And so I would come home and tell her these stories about these white people going to counseling, but they're some of the best citizens now. They didn't go through a lot of things that I went through, a lot of bad decision making. They knew who they were. They were leaders because white people get in front of therapy and counseling. And like you said, raising them right.
We
getting better.
And they're not.
I was very broken.
They're not
And
taking.
you were broken before you became an adult. That's another thing.
Yeah, I left my mom's house broken.
At,
Had I not, I would have made a lot of different decisions.
As a young child being broken. So a lot of times when people look at the way transgenders respond, a lot of them are broken from a very young age.
Yeah.
So now you're dealing with an adult that's broken.
Yeah, I didn't go through therapy until my 30s.
Do you think you loved on men because you craved that love from a man?
Definitely. I think it was much easier. And I think that when I was young, a lot of older gay men, they preyed on that. They knew, you know, they could see it. You know what I'm saying? They could see it, you know? Sometimes you can see yourself in other people. And then if that person's young and they cute and, you know, you have ulterior motives, what you gonna do? You gonna pose as that father figure at first? Because that's what I would attract. I would attract men who act like they want to be a father figure to me or a mentor. Like, you know, you in college, you doing the right thing. Stay away from them punks. Them punks ain't doing right. But then later on a drunk night, they'll choose or they'll try me or they'll... So then I have a very... messed up thought process about who I can trust, who I can't, because it was happening back to back, you know, people acting like, you know, I just want to mentor you and be a part of your life. Preying on me sexually.
Yeah, just like, you know, people influence you by doing drugs. And
I had a lot of predatory people
Yeah.
attracted to me and young in my 18, 19, 20 years old.
And so this really kind of, you know, like I said, I commend Oprah because Oprah did a lot of work with bringing in thought leaders to kind of help to just lay the foundation of how the brain works. And so I'm a firm believer, yes, environmental factors. I've seen science experiments and I've seen scientists come out and literally do science projects on different reptiles and animals and how we can give them this chemical. And this chemical could change their biological and alter their makeup. The same way that they were able to grow babies now without people.
Right.
You know, and clone meat. It's like we can manipulate that. And so the simple fact that they said, yeah, we were born like this. Yes, but it was induced. It wasn't
Please
by...
don't think,
Yes.
Yeah.
And so here's my thing too. So when I looked at this video that Chopra made with Oprah, it made me really just kind of say, wow, like I wanted to present this to you and saw what and to see what you thought about it. So let me play this video real here. Hold on. Okay.
Brain doesn't know the difference between an actual experience and an imagined experience. If I anticipate surgery, then I'm afraid of the surgery. I'll release the same flood of hormones as the surgical procedure. In fact, I might release even more. If I think in my mind that I'm watching the sun, my pupils will dilate. If I think in my mind I'm in the darkness, the pupils will contract. If I think I'm holding some hot coals in my hand, the temperature will go up. If I think I'm holding ice in this hand, the temperature will go down. So every wisp of thought releases a flood of hormones and chemical messengers, and every little cell in your body is eavesdropping on that. In fact, your body is nothing other than the projection of your own consciousness.
If you're worried about something, the worry about the experience causes as much problem as the actual experience.
If not more.
If not more.
If not more.
I believe that. I believe that. Yes, truly. Yes.
And imagine we got young brains that are being introduced too early to sex.
Yeah, and they're so susceptible at that age.
Yeah, because sex is the most powerful tool that you can use because it's something that we crave, love, and it's intimacy. And just imagine a 5-year-old being introduced to sex, or someone who's perverted and things like that. And so their brain, just releases a flood of hormones, and then you start to kind of go with the flow.
Identify and attach.
And so it's a lot deeper than, most are willing to consider.
I know.
I wanted to,
because you got to go there. That's why most people are not willing to, because you have to really go there. Most people don't want to go there, because it's hurtful. It brings up things like we talked about things that have happened in our family that most of our sisters, they would have had a heart attack if they were here. Most people, they can't go there. They can't. She will always tell me certain things, because there's certain people, like my father, he can't handle a lot of the truth. He'll beat you, get mad, hang up, da-da-da. She'll be like, your father and certain people on your dad's side of the family, they would have a heart attack if they had to literally face the truth. Like if your father had to face that he neglected y'all once we divorced. Once he divorced me, he divorced y'all, and he was not there for y'all. It would kill him, she said. She said, I really think he would have a heart attack. He would be put in the hospital. Most people can't go there. They're not mentally or emotionally equipped to handle the hardcore truth. That was one of the things I already knew. I was like, for us to return back to the man God made us, we have to realize, how did we get to the point of transitioning in the first place? And then that's when all the
and you said that
stuff
perfect,
came up.
the way God made us, because they'll say an hermaphrodite is similar to a trans woman, and it's like, no,
that's not the same at all.
A hermaphrodite was born the way God made them.
Yeah, you can't change science. And that's what a lot of people will get mad at me too. They'll be like, you sound like a hypocrite. Because I'll be like, no, you can't change science, bro. And they'll be like, no. I'm like, see, that's the problem. When you get too many rights and laws and things passed to be progressive, start
the truth is lost.
The Lulu starts to kick in.
Yeah,
and I just never went along with it. Like, for instance, when the whole, and my mom, she just laughed when the whole thing came up about biological women not wanting to be called cisgender women. I was like, because certain cousins are calling, like, how you feel about that? Because I have a lot of girl cousins, because, I be like, you ain't no cisgender woman. You a biologically born real woman. And my mom was like,
hello.
My mom always said one thing about Ashley. She never, I never was too far off in the deep end. Like, the person that decides to make the change is the one that needs the prefix, not the person that was born a woman. Like, what are we doing? Like, it's going too far. Or when they were like, when they started saying birth givers or chest feeding, like, it just went way too far.
And it's like, how did you get here again?
Yeah, like,
you wouldn't even be here. Because let's be honest, they were like, well, you still need a man. Yes, a man can plant a seed, but we choose whether or not we want to water it and grow it.
Yes, I will always have this thing, right? And people would laugh because when I was trans and I was telling, men wouldn't know. At first, I meet them in the street, because I would always protect my safety. So I meet them in the street, meet them in the club, whatever, and then that would be like one of my first 2 or 3 texts, like, hey, by the way, I'm trans and I still got all my stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then a man would text me back here, be like, dang, you were so fine in that club, I thought I was going to put a baby in you. I said, you could put one in, but ain't one coming out. They would die laughing.
Listen.
And I will always tell a man like that, or that would be my way of telling a man my tea. He'll be like, oh, I want to put a baby in you. I said, you could put one in, but ain't one coming out. And he'll be like, why? I'll be like, cause I can't have a baby, like, period. Like, I just never let my mind go that far. And I feel like a lot of a lot of people straddle that fence. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with trans people. Like I said, I think some trans people, if they couldn't be trans, they wouldn't be here. And that's not what I want for you. I want you to be alive. So,
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I want you to exist
I
and who
agree.
you want to be. But my personal journey.
But the delusion has to stop.
The delusion part got to stop. You cannot think that you're the same as your mother. Like, that's a little bit delusional.
But then again, you know, we can argue and say, and I'm sure I'm going to get dragged for this, if they're
Yeah, me too,
confused
but I don't
about
care.
who they are, why would we expect them to be clear cut about who we are?
What's black and white. You can't change
You can't.
science. Like,
Yeah.
there's no surgery that's ever going to make, that would have ever made me the same as my mom. Like, ever. And I never was delusional about that. I told people, I said, don't call my mother cisgender woman. Don't call her real fish. Don't say certain things to my mama. Like, I don't care what you do with yours. That's between you and yours. Like I said, it's always a personal thing. I am not a trans advocate, so I'm not an anti-trans advocate. Because I was, but you not saying certain stuff to my mother. My mother's not a cisgender woman. My mother's a biologically born real woman.
Oh.
It is what it is. And so I started having fallouts with people because of that.
Yeah,
so
because-
now that I'm detransitioning and we falling out, it's like, good riddance. Nice
Right.
knowing you.
And it's interesting because that word erupted from, the doctor told you who you were. You as a human being have the right to choose who you are. So based on what they identify as a man or a woman, we just accepted that. And it's like, are you
That's a
fucking
little
kidding me right
far-fetched. Like,
now?
I just- yeah.
Anything to listen, I get, and people want to solidify what it is that they are. It's like they want a foundation, but no matter
get it,
where
but
you go,
still.
the foundation is what you were born as. And men don't have ovaries. Men don't have periods,
And trans don't have periods. Trans don't have ovaries.
Right.
You can't change science.
You can't.
just
And
can't
so,
change science.
I mean, they can change their mind, but not science, okay? And that's why I wanted to introduce that video to say the brain, once you tell the brain something or teach the brain something as a child, the brain gonna believe what you tell it to believe.
Absolutely.
Just like I could say, I'm a horrible person, and every day I tell myself that, I'm a horrible person. But if I tell myself, oh, I'm a great person, that horrible conversation doesn't come up. So I believe
And
that
you
I'm a
gonna show
great
up in the world
person.
different, too.
And I'm gonna show up different. And so whatever it is that we train our brain to believe, and that's why meditation is important.
Yes.
That's why having a stable foundation coming up is important. That's why therapy is important.
Yes.
That's why having the support of your loved ones is important. And
Yes.
I applaud your mama for just never giving up, because I would never give up on mine.
Yeah.
It's my child. And you got to be a mother and a woman to understand that, because we are the nurturers and the growers of the world.
Yes.
Men are the planters. They go. Okay? Some stay, but most of them go and
of 'em
keep
go.
planting. But the women, we stay and we water, we grow, we nurture. And we continue to do that even after you guys
Adulthood.
are 18.
Right,
And we
yeah.
still go through it. And the men could just be like, I raised you, I'm done. Like they have that choice, and it's not child support end at 18. Nobody's making this man be a father to you, but we do have some great men that are great fathers
Yes,
and that
thank
are
God.
there.
Our generation is changing it. Thank God.
Yes, it
Yes.
is changing. And so,
Thank
you know,
God.
there's just so many factors at bay, and I'm just glad that I was able to actually have a conversation with somebody as open as you. And this is not based on hate.
Oh no, definitely not.
It's the truth.
And I want to say that too in the camera. A lot of people probably thought that this was going to be a anti-trans conversation. First of all, that would make me a hypocrite, because if I've lived somewhere at 16 years, that's like somebody who get delivered from drugs, or somebody who stops doing something. You don't go back and bash the very people that you just came from. That makes you a hypocrite. However, just like people love to say trans lives matter, black trans lives matter, people who change their mind, our lives matter too. And this has been a conversation and a day to show people like myself, because there's other people out there, and I want to show y'all that it's never too late. If you woke up, it's never too late. I don't care how many surgeries you had. I've had 1 million of them. It's never too late. If you want to return, don't let nobody bash you, bully you, or make you feel like you can't go back to whatever it is that you want to be in life.
I love that. You did that. You nurtured, you grew, you watered. You did that, Mom.
But I just lastly want to say that he was asking me to move to Georgia, because I moved from Florida a few years. And I tell people the one word change. He said, "Ma, I want you to move to Georgia." I said, no, no. It get cold there. I'm going to die. Because that's how I usually behave when it get cold. However, when he said in 2020, I need you to move there, less than 3 months, I moved there. And I want to say that I thought it was about the journey of me being there for him. But it was about my journey, God dealing with him, whatever needed to be dealt with him, but God dealing with me as well. So I just know that unconditional love, continually supporting, and still praying because I know what the Word of God said. Yeah. And me also acknowledging. I said as a mother, I made a lot of A's, but I made some B's and C's and D's and F's, but I have acknowledged and owned my stuff with my children. Yeah. And that's why we were able to be as close as we are.
A lot of black
and talk
parents
about
can't
any
do that.
and everything.
Older black parents.
Yes, because sometimes it's
that.
not that they're dealing with a child that's transgender. Sometimes you just messed up as a mother.
Yeah.
Own your stuff.
We get that a lot. We'll be out
Own
in
your
public and
stuff.
somebody else say, I just love y'all relationship. I wish my child, like she said, it don't be a trans. Sometimes it be
straight people
like
talking
their
to
child is a straight person.
Yes.
And like my child don't F with me. My child don't deal with me, or my child come around and be disrespectful. And we always ask, what happened? And they're like, oh, nothing. Something happened in that adult child's childhood that you're not willing to go and help heal. You helped hurt, but you're not willing to go help heal. And that's why they disrespectful. And that's why they don't want to be around you. That's why, because a lot of parents, they try to trick her into thinking no, they just woke up one day and decided being disrespectful. And she's like, nah, that's not how that works.
What baby is born and disrespectful?
Yeah.
So let's just go there. What baby is born and disrespectful?
Something happened in
that
childhood.
So what I've learned, when children are very disrespectful, and I don't ever accept
condone
it.
Me neither.
Because I never have that. We've had disagreements with both of my children, and then we be like, you know what? It's obvious.
We need a few days.
We're not going to agree on this.
We need a few days.
We're not going to agree on this. We're going to disagree. We're going to agree to disagree. However, how was your day?
Yeah.
So we move on immediately from it. But what baby is born being disrespectful? So what God showed me when I was in Orlando, when you get children that's starting being very disrespectful, there's a lot of hurt there.
Yeah.
And sometimes parents not even identifying it.
Because we have a cousin and an aunt, they cuss each other out
disrespectful.
like dogs. You B, you fat.
It's a lot of stuff.
We have a cousin and, my
Because
cousin.
of their parents like that?
My cousin and her sister, they talk to each other like that too. You
But-
fat
and
B,
then-
you ain't
and
never
then
gonna be ass.
and then too, what I
she just
do
started
wanna
doing what
say-
she learned from her mama.
Yeah, and then
That's
what
all.
I do want to say, respect comes both ways.
Both ways, yeah.
Because now you have these people in their 40s,
I'm the
50s,
mama.
60s, 70s. I'm your parent. But don't talk to your
can't
children
curse
very
me out and I not.
disrespectful.
Yeah.
And they may not disrespect you at a very young age, but give them time.
My father like that. He
Give
feel like he
them
can talk to me
time.
however, and I can't say nothing back. My father's like that. She could tell you.
And I'm not saying
literally.
be afraid of your children. That's not what I'm saying.
Well, don't
However,
gaslight 'em.
respect them.
Yeah.
Talk to them. They're human beings. And still, they know. He always said we're best friends. But there are conversations we have. I'm the mother. But there are conversation he has that I feel like I'm the child because I'm learning.
Yeah.
But we're not ever disrespectful.
No, never. It'll shorten your days.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
well,
I always go back to that. You don't want your days shortened.
She the reason I started talking to my father. She was like, because when y'all get on the phone, it's so volatile. You have no respect
Both
for him, and I
ways.
get it. But stop talking to him so that you don't count. He said, not for him.
For you.
So for you.
For your
it was
day.
like
Stop
that
talking to him.
when my mom and I, my mom was a firecracker boy.
Take you there,
And
yeah.
I would just take it and take it and take it.
And then
now
that
what
one
I
day-
did was, no, I never blew up on her.
wow.
I just separated.
Okay.
So it was like I didn't talk to her for a few years.
That's where
and
I'm at.
then when I did, my sisters, they brought us back together. She was like, "Mom changed. I'm trying to tell you, Mom changed. She ain't like that no more. She listening."
Okay.
And so we are so close now. and
that's
she's
good.
even helping me to parent my daughter. And
That's good.
you
yeah.
know, because she was just like, I realized I can't be talking to y'all like that, and
Yeah.
I can't walk around mean all the time with an
Yeah.
attitude, and I'm just missing life, and y'all
Yes.
growing up, my grandkids growing up, and so, and that was a prayer that I prayed every day that, God would bring us back together.
Family's
And he
forever.
did.
That's why it's
is.
also easy because people have been asking me because they've been seeing the heat that I've been getting from the LGBTQ. I look like that because that don't bother me. Good luck. Keep trying. But friendships and connections come and go. But family, your blood, your mom, my mom, you know, your kids, that's forever.
Ever.
You can't ever erase that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine one friend I would lose and I'd be like distraught.
It is.
But my family, I couldn't imagine not having a relationship with her and my brother and his kids. And I couldn't imagine. Life would not be life without it.
And it was the LGBTQ that said one day, and I'll never forget this, it was a big live stream, and they were going in on me, and I was enjoying every bit of it.
Yeah, you like me. See?
And I was just like, go. And they was
in.
just like, you know, she don't give a damn about nobody but her husband and her kids and her family.
course.
If you ain't them, she don't give a fuck about you. And I was just like, why should I?
Spirit animal twin. Who's accused of that all the time?
Like,
Because
why?
he always talking about his real family. Just because you don't have a relationship with yours,
Family.
I'm not about to downplay with the one with mine.
Exactly.
We close over here, and it ain't gonna change.
I'm just like, what have you done for me? What do I owe you? Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out. What do I owe you, and why do I have to be loyal to you?
They do me the same way.
Are you loyal to me? Why should I be loyal to you? So
The double standards.
But I do want to say thank you so much again for just being open and coming out
course.
and sharing your story.
Of course.
I love that your energy is just everything, and it just seems like everything's just on the table. Come with what you want to come
Yes.
with. Your mom has got your back. You got your mom back.
Thank you.
I did want to put out that you are detransitioning.
Yeah.
You are restoring your body.
Yes.
You
it's
are
expensive.
I know it's expensive.
The breast removed, and then the silicone injections removed, and
We may be able to help you with that.
so that would be a blessing because I've always paid for everything myself. And my pastor, he was like, this time around, make a GoFundMe. He said, man of God, let people help you
I
this
know
time.
somebody
Okay.
that has a connection with all of the surgery centers.
That would be amazing.
And for promo,
okay.
I can utilize my platform to
Hey.
say
Jesus.
Oh, don't
we
get us started.
would
Thank you, Jesus.
we
Well,
would
she called on
market
Jesus
because here's
earlier.
the thing, they always reach out to me to say,
Okay.
hey, will you do surgery? And I'm like, no. They're like, what's your stomach? Fuck my stomach. My husband ain't
You
worried
look
about my
good.
stomach. Thank you.
My mom ain't never had surgery. I tell her don't ever get it. Please
I'm
don't.
like, I have never in my life
You don't
ever
need
had
it.
a man say, I'm not fucking you because you got a
That's what
stomach.
they said. They been
It's
saying that a
only
lot.
women that
sick
say that
addiction.
to each other.
Criticizing
That's
one
like,
another.
bitch, are you?
Criticizing
I'm
one
not eating
another.
pussy. You're not eating my pussy. So
Yes,
why should I
yes,
lose my stomach
yes,
for you?
yes,
Like,
yes.
my man is like,
Corporate society, right?
exactly.
You got an African man. They like natural.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to
Oh,
tell people.
wait a minute.
So that's the least of my worries, and my stomach hasn't made me lose money, you know, and things like
Hey.
that. And so they always try to ask me to do surgery. And so what I'm thinking is I'm gonna use my coupons that they gave me
Yes.
to say that I will showcase your surgery.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, Lord.
On my show, let me
Here
make
she
it
goes.
happen. I know the
Yes,
girl that does
yes.
it.
Okay.
And as long as I
Yes.
post
Yes.
everything concerning your journey, the same thing that they're doing with Rolly.
We'll document it.
You remember Rolly?
Yeah.
We'll just document it here. And I think
Yes.
it's absolutely amazing. And I'm happy to do this
Come on.
because,
Look at-
yeah, you got to restore you to what God made you.
yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. And I
And
just
thank
want to
you.
say this.
Yeah.
And I'm done for real.
Okay.
The
Don't get emotional.
No,
Okay,
I'm not.
okay, okay.
You good? What's wrong?
The statement was made before we came. Remember, you said, I hope the person that's doing the interview, and what I said to you,
What?
I said everything is going to be the way it's supposed to be.
You did. You did.
I said
You did.
everything is going to be the way it's supposed to be. I say, and with our energy and whomever going to do the interview, I say it's all going to be the way it's
Because
supposed
two
to
people
be.
from our
And I
church.
said that.
Yeah, I know what they say about me.
walking out.
They
Go
bet-
ahead, go.
Yeah, they was
Yeah.
like, don't go. They was like, because she's trying, because I'm a very private person. I think you are too. That's why, like, when your stuff hit, it'd be like, oh, you know, because you don't announce, like, next week filming with, you know what I'm saying? But I take social media breaks and I take media breaks, so
Yeah.
I don't catch all your stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, you're known for the mess and they were like, she
They
gonna
was
try
trying
to
to discourage you.
She gonna try to bait you into bashing the trans community. I said nobody could ever make me do that because that would make me hypocritical. I said, did I not say this? I said y'all only look at Tasha K as a messy blogger.
You did.
I said Tasha K has journalist bones in her body too.
You did.
I said, and our interview is gonna be not messy blogger. It's gonna be the journalistic
You
side.
said that.
And they were like, okay, you'll see. Nobody can't bait me. I'm actually intelligent.
I promise you I don't bait
Yes.
people.
You know what I'm saying? I know you don't. People be coming on here wanting to say what they want to say.
Sometimes I
the
be like,
Martell
you
one.
sure you
I
want to
watched
do
it.
that?
Okay, you stop saying
Because during the pandemic,
No, it's okay,
that's what
it's
made us
okay.
start watching Love and Marriage Huntsville.
No.
Because
Yeah.
Wanda was
I'm
so
talking
funny to
about
us.
names.
Well, I did watch the Martell interview.
But I was just gonna
Anything
say.
he said about Mel, she did not bait him.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
He just said it.
I
don't wanna be
actually,
sued.
but
No
here's the
cease and
thing.
desist. I didn't say his whole name.
No. But here's the thing.
she didn't.
What I said, and I had a conversation with Martell before that interview. I said, Martell, you done a lot of bad interviews out here, okay? And they're done from an emotional space.
Yeah.
And it makes you look emotionally incompetent as
Yes.
a black man.
Yes.
And you've already carried
Continually.
on an outside relationship and had a child with your wife.
Yes,
Can we
ma'am.
have some stability?
Yes.
And he was like, sure. And I was like, so you're going to be vulnerable with me, and we're going to unwind some things about you that you don't necessarily talk to the public about. Because right now, like, I'm going to be honest with you, you know how they have David and Goliath in every show. Like, which one are you today?
Yeah.
And so you are good
you know that.
TV.
We watched the show together.
You are good TV. You're an attractive man, and you're America's husband, and you have let down women. You have let down black families. Can you please just inside of you just give us some sort of reason?
Humility.
It's
Just
humility
once.
as to why. And you don't have to apologize to Mel for doing that, right?
Yeah.
Because you've been married and you could just say, I got it wrong.
Yes.
Right? I got it wrong. This is not the way things, but I tried and he just...
But Mom, even when you watch the show, you will always say, if he would have a different approach, he would be received
Definitely.
different. You will always say that.
Definitely.
You would say it's the doubling down on his BS.
Yes,
and I was like, you're right.
definitely.
And
you
that's
will
his
always say,
ego.
your brother don't be that kind of man to
And-
women. You will
yeah,
always say
and-
that.
Oh, definitely.
You
And
will
that's
always say
his
that.
ego.
Definitely.
He's coming from a place of
Yes.
emotion.
Oh, definitely.
And
And I used
ego.
to say that all the time.
And Martell is
Yeah.
he's really a good person.
Yes.
He really is. People don't understand that he's anything you need, he'll do it for you.
Yeah.
He's very open. He's down to earth.
Yeah.
He doesn't see himself as like bigger than
Yeah.
everybody else. Now Mel, on the other hand, I'm here, you're down here.
yeah.
That's just her.
But you always said his pride was his enemy, not his personality.
Well, that and
Exactly.
what I've
Not his personality, his pride.
always said when I talk to you all that I said about
Mm-hmm.
him.
Yeah.
Whomever you are, that's what needs to be showing up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The person you just said, it doesn't show up.
Yeah,
all of that
unfortunately.
other negativity
Yes.
show up. And I used to always
And he
tell
trusts you because he opens up
to
to you in a way.
And
that I
listen, I
haven't
got
seen
a
him
lot.
open up to
I
other
got a lot
people.
out of him because we've had Listen, I could have been had Martell on my platform. I didn't want to do it.
Right.
It just wasn't the right time.
Right.
So when he called me, I said, Martell, I'm not going to do this out of spite. It can't be done out of spite.
That's
okay?
true. Yeah.
It has to be done
Thoughtful.
from a very stable place in you as a black man.
Yeah.
As someone who's a great parent,
Yeah.
you failed at marriage, okay?
And it's okay.
You got to stop it. It's okay.
Promise to God.
And that's why I asked him, I said, could you have been polygamous and not known it?
Yeah.
As black women, let's not try to sit here and fake
We was
that
talking
we don't
about it.
believe in
All the
polygamy,
time.
and we do.
all the time.
We was
Like,
talking about how
stop.
her generation,
All the time.
you know, they had literally 2 and 3 families, you know, like Evelyn Braxton. And, you know, like we said it. We said the only thing with Martell did nothing else a lot of black men
He
did.
just
It's
didn't tell the truth.
televised. Yeah.
Tell the truth.
Yes.
And he's being demonized
doubling down on it.
for being a man.
A man.
And we as women, we understand, just don't
Yeah.
lie
Yeah,
to
and
me.
don't double down on
And
it.
don't make it seem like it's my fault.
Yeah, that's where he
right?
messed up at.
And that's where he messed up. But that's neither here nor
Yes.
there. I just
Yes.
want to use my platform to help you in any kind of way. I'm going to
Thank
make
you.
some calls, but here's the thing. I can't make them say yes, but I am
Of
going
course
to make
not.
sure that I
Yeah.
negotiate
Just the
this
fact that you trying is
well.
like, thank you.
But we are going to post your GoFundMe
Okay.
because you are doing things step by step.
I am.
And so if anybody wants to help support Zario on his transition and transitioning back to his mother's son, the GoFundMe is posted here. It is linked below. This is going to go out on YouTube. This is not even going to go out on TashaKLive.com because I stand behind you 1,000%. And like I
appreciate
said,
that.
you know, this is about standing on business
Yes, it
and
is.
standing on the truth.
Yes, it is. And
Okay.
people need to see it.
Yes.
People need to see it.
And like I said, we love I love the trans community.
Me too.
I love the LGBT. They're the most fun. Just like your
Most
mama
creative.
said, why we ain't going to the drag clubs? Very fun, but let's not get it twisted. It's kind of like me hanging with white people, right?
Yeah.
Right? I like to use that example. So me hanging with LGBTQ is sort of like me hanging with white people. Yeah, we gonna laugh, we gonna kiki, but don't you better open your mouth to call me no nigga. You better not. Ain't that much alcohol or beer pong in the world. And that's how I feel about the LGBTQ. Don't open up your mouth to call me no cisgender. Don't open up your mouth saying you gonna call me a bitch and I'm the reason why you're here. I'm mother.
Yeah.
And so even if you are a trans woman and it is like a hate crime to be a trans woman, don't buck up at me and I will have these niggas whoop your ass.
Yeah, you can't do that.
But we won't never have that problem because I don't come at anybody disrespectful. Right. So, but if you're upset because I'm not moving the way you feel that I should move, that doesn't give you the right to put your hands on me or disrespect me or call me out of my name. Agreed. Not at all. I'm not being disrespectful towards you.
Yeah.
And so, no, I appreciate you. Like I said, doing your thing, standing on business. Yes. And I'm gonna make some calls because I know the young lady that was even responsible for Rolly's surgery and even Charles and Netta. Oh, okay. Like I know her and she's big in the surgery community and she's a very good friend of mine.
Wait, Charles and Netta got surgery?
They did. They get a BBL and Charles got some lipo. So Netta got a BBL. She's transitioning.
Is she?
She is.
She transitioning. Oh.
I said, we got to start with the face first. Listen.
Definitely. She need our skincare, our family skincare line, yes.
You do have a skincare line. Please tell us all about it because I was telling y'all how great y'all skin look. Y'all drink water. I can tell.
Yeah, we drink a lot of water, but we also have an ocean-based skincare line. It's called beautymossatl.com. The moss is because most of the products have sea moss in it. That's something that's missing in a lot of skincare. We've been working on it since she moved here in 2020. It is our family business. So yeah, go to beautymossatl.com and order. And
our skin will look like you and your mom's.
I promise, with consistency. Because I'm consistent.
That seawater, and I noticed you probably noticed the difference too when you moved from Florida to Georgia.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Because you look at especially black women's skin or even brown skin, like the Latina community. Is if you're on that beach, just the humidity in the water because there's salt in the air, right? Yeah. The skin is immaculate, right? It's always perspiring. Yeah. But when you move to Georgia, it was like, oh my God,
dry. Yeah. And we were raised, we went to the beach every weekend. Yes. That was our dad's. And that was coming to get them for the beach.
Exfoliating, those Dead Sea minerals, the salt, getting down to those layers of the pores. And so that's the first thing I noticed on y'all. I was like, damn, they really eat good, Ronnie. They drink water. Y'all look good. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. And please tell everybody where they can find you, follow you, ask questions. Mom, you got an IG page?
She don't. But you can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Big Zario. That's BIGZARIOO with 3 O's. And holla at your boy.
Mama, start that Instagram page for your cakes and stuff like that. And when we upload these clips, we're going to tag you and your baby. Okay?
Okay.
Come on now.
I'll do it for you.
Mama, you a celebrity now.
I'm about to do it for her.
Yeah. You a celebrity now.
No, I will stop baking eventually in the near future. Yeah. Okay. So I know you're the one that I need to talk to.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you. And look at that camera and say, now you got to go. Bye. All
right. Now we got to go. Bye.
Look at that. See y'all later. All right. Thank you.